All right. All right. All right. All right. Everybody calm down. Where are we at? What's going on? All right. Audio's good. We're still dressed for work. Still looking fresh. Still looking fancy. Look at us. Look at us go. Little polo shirt. Just little fancy pants. You can't even see because they're just black. So you're just going to see black pants. Oh my god. Today was the day. So I woke up early because I knew I had a stream at noon. So I woke up early, went in, and how my usual day is when I stream in the EU time zone like this, how my usual day goes is I'll get up early, go to work, submit a run that's going to take 12 hours on the machine. I'll get to what I work with in a second, but I'll submit 12 hours of a run on the machine, come home, stream for you all, have dinner with Grace and stuff, and then I'll go back to work at night for like an hour or two to check how the run went, and if there's any issues, resubmit it so it can run overnight and be ready the next morning. Things like that. So I was planning on doing that today. Well, I go in and I work on high performance liquid chromatography mass spectrometers at the Mayo Clinic. So a lot of liquid goes through these things very quickly. Well, someone was... Sorry, someone's asking me about the tournament. Council guard. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so a lot of liquid goes through these things, very high pressure. They're very, very expensive. And the pipetting arm to put samples on the machine wasn't working, and people didn't know why. And an entire part fell off of it, so it was just missing a whole part. So I was putting that back together, and that put me behind about an hour. But I'm like, all right, I gave myself plenty of time to get home in time for the stream. We're good, we're fine. And then I get onto the machine, and it has this syringe that injects the liquid into an area. Well, the syringe goes way too far. Like, it clearly had no idea where it was aiming for, slams this metal thing and bends and breaks, and like glass goes everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? And the people working there at the moment were like, yeah, it's been doing that for like the last day. I'm like, what do you mean the last day? Like, that is something you need to deal with like immediately. So then I have to get in there and like start picking out broken glass and shit from this machine that's worth more than all of my harvested organs combined on the black market and get it back up and running. And it was like, okay, all right. So that took 3 extra hours. So I didn't have 3 extra hours budgeted into my thing. So I'm here. My lunch is here. We're just doing our best right now. We're in the middle of a new player tournament. What's going on today? It's the new player tournament. There's a thing. It is new players. And they're playing the game. The game you all know. Today it's just best of 1 all the way through. Double elimination. People seemed to like that last time, though there was a best of 3 at the end of the whole bracket, and that was too much for me. It was already a long tournament. Double elim will do that. So we're just going best of 1 all the way through. And we were supposed to do it live. But then all that shit happened. So then I told people just send me replays. And then no one was quite ready with the first replay when we started the stream. And Longboy, everybody's favorite Longboy, the longest boys, invited me to a live lobby. So we're going to have a live lobby / replay cast today. We don't know what's going on. All right, what you get from this is some good old-fashioned PvP 1v1 Total War Warhammer 6 action. That's what you get. What form is gonna come in? Don't know. Don't really know. Replays, live, laggy, not. We don't know. It's just that kind of day. It's just that kind of day where you roll with the punches. You take what life gives you. You take sugar and water and you make lemonade. But Human Boy, you need lemons for lemonade. And I say, not for this lemonade. It's just sugar water. Whew. All right, I'm back. Lil Trills here, what up? Greg Bird? Night that you're full of stars? I don't know what you're referring to, but I'm going to assume it's you and that you have eaten several full stars. Lamb Sauce King, thank you for the $10. Human Boy was captured by Skaven and given Warpstone, the only true answer for why I was late. Oh. Facts and logic. Facts and logic. Eat your lunch, Human Boy? I'll get there. I'll get there. How you all doing today? Alright. Saving that replay, and then I'll talk about this. We have Longboy versus somebody. What's his name? He's messaged me today, but I forgot what his name is. Longboy versus Leyenda de Ang. And in Steam, he's apparently... Boofnage. Boofnage. If you didn't turn up at all, this would be considered early. Krell? True, man. True. Bet Longboy wins that enough to replay. Oh. Okay, yeah. So, this is a new player tournament. You're going to have people who are very, very new to tournaments. What do we have here? We have 2 Little Groms. We have a Patriarch, an Ice Witch of Ice with Deathfrost and Ice Maiden's Kiss, and then we have a goddamn Elemental Bear trying to hide in the trees, but he doesn't have hide while in forest, so he is very visible right now. And then 2 Armored Kossars, 2 Kossars with spears, a 3rd Kossar spear in the back, actually. We have 1 Light War Sled and 3 Kossite Dervishes, if I am reading the mini-map behind my camera correctly, yes. As Antoyevich is pointing out in the chat, there are 5 single entities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For Kislev, technically the limit is 4. You get this a lot in new player tournaments as people learn that like the tournament has different unit caps than quick battles, and we're usually pretty chill about rule breaks in this format. In like a hyper elite tournament for thousands of dollars, yeah, we would expect people to know the rules by heart more, but in a literal try out land battles and see how you like it tournament, we don't expect people to be fully 100% on top of the rules. For the Skaven, we do have a front line of Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves. Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves. We have a Warlock Master on his Doom Wheel with Cleansing Ruin and Brass Orb. We have 1 Poison Globe, 3 Warplock Jezzails, actually, yeah, 3 Warplock Jezzails, an Avalanche Mortar, and some Rat Ogres in the back. It looks like 4 Rat Ogres, 2 Wolf Rats. So the Rat Ogres and Jezzails are trying to peel off these light war sleds. Meanwhile, Rat Ogres and Wolf Rats are teaming up on the Kossite Dervishes on the flanks, which is very good setup. You can see the Skaven are creating a lot of space for their weapons teams, which is exactly what they want. They just want maximum uptime. And Warlock Master chucks out a Cleansing Ruin onto the Ice Witch. Good targeting. And now he's going to run away. He's taking quite a bit of damage from little pistol and arrow poke, but also the Elemental Bear that just wandered out of the trees definitely brought his attention front and center. Light War Sled's down to 1 model, almost dead. And the Kossite Dervishes are going to shatter, if not outright die, as soon as that Fire Blood wears off. And another good catch on the other flank here by Longboy. Kossite Dervishes getting wrapped up. So without the cavalry pressure, a lot of factions struggle to get into this Skaven backline. Well, like, even this 450 gold cav, if they got into the backline without being absolutely deleted by Wolf Rats and Rat Ogres, they could get like 4 or 5 times their damage value back by shutting down the weapons teams. So it's pretty critical for the Skaven to stop that from happening. 2 of our Jezzails are still online, and they are focusing their time on the Elemental Bear. I think this is overall wise. The Skaven didn't bring anything that can really handle the Elemental Bear in melee. No Eshin Triads, no Council Guard, no Hell Pit Abominations. While some of those things might be suboptimal, of course, it's like they still would technically try to kill this thing. Surrounding it with Rat Ogres is not going to do very well. Rat Ogres are good at stopping big things from moving around. They're not actually that great at killing them. So the Jezzails would be pretty key for that. I do like that the Skaven have just started ignoring the Little Groms. It is very hard to wrap your brain around just letting something shoot, but very frequently, in my experience with Skaven, especially in Warhammer 3 on Ultra Unit Size, it just doesn't matter, man. It just doesn't matter if you let, like, mortars fire, or I guess in some cases bolt throwers, though they're a little different, so ignore that one, but like mortars, Little Groms, Noblar scrap launchers, things like that, just let them. Just let them shoot. You have more important things to be dealing with. And if you waste all of your time shooting at the Little Groms, like the cavalry, the infantry, and that stuff could be running you over. Because these guys, like, they're firing either at chaff that doesn't matter, or they're firing at really spread out weapons teams that takes them a long time to damage. So I do like that. He's just ignoring them. Because he knows in late game they won't be a problem. Like, see, Wolf Rats are getting onto that one. Rat Ogres are kind of here for this one. It's doing fine. The Elemental Bear is almost down. Really good target priority from the Skaven so far. Now, for the Kislev player, the Little Groms have been shooting the right targets. It's just Skaven provides shit targets to shoot at. But they have been shooting at the weapons teams, which is overall good. You can say they've killed one of the Giselles. Patriarchy is chasing down the Warlock Master. He's targeting there for Bulf. I'm just going to call him Bulf. Bulf's targeting on the Warlock Master has been pretty good. I like his spell usage a lot. His micro control has been alright. He forgot some of his flank units a little bit when they were attacked by the dogs. Just kind of let it happen. That shit is what it is. Overall, I think the biggest disparity here we're seeing is a build issue. The Elemental Bear, in my opinion, is just trash. So that entire unit just doesn't really have a function. But ignoring that, we have like these two Little Groms, which while they were allowed to fire, they just didn't get anything done versus Skaven. So I do think it was like this, the Kislev build was just not optimal for fighting the specific faction you're fighting, which like, shit happens, you know? Because I know I've been talking to Longboy quite a bit about Skaven, so I don't know if he fully has been listening and I deserve to take credit for any of this, but I know like he's been talking to me and stuff, and this game he was feeling more confident, so I think the Kislev player would just reassess like more of those Kosovo dervishes, because the Skaven are really good at shutting them down, but imagine if you had 4 instead of 3, and the third one actually just didn't get involved for a while. But like if you send all 4 of them at the same time into this area, along with that light war sled, because the light war sled did a really good thing right away and shut down the Giselles and the avalanche mortars from firing, but it had no follow-up. It was like, guys, I did it, I stopped them, and like the rest of the Kislevite army was like, cool, bro, hope that works out for you, and then it didn't, you know? So if you had more dervishes following that light war sled in, you just absolutely disrupted this backline. If you really want to keep the spirit of the build the same, you can leave the Little Groms, just cut the Elemental Bear and get like 2 more cav with it. I think you could afford 2 Jade Lancers or a Kosovite Dervish and a Jade Lancer for that cost. Someone beat me in Kislev. It was Raced. Raced beat me in Kislev versus Skaven recently. He just took like every cav piece you could imagine. I think he took 1 light war sled and then like 4 dervishes, 4 Jade Lancers, 2 of the Griffin Legion. Yeah, it was wild. But it is a tough matchup for Kislev overall. If you play it standard, which like it looks like these players did, right? Like that's a generic Kislev build that's fine. But versus Skaven specifically is where I start to have issues with it. So the one that the Little Groms and stuff shut down, only 100 value on that Giselle. The other 2 did great. Avalanche Mortars didn't quite pay for themselves, but they cleared out what little infantry there was to clear out. Rat Ogres did well. Globes got shut down really hard by the Patriarch and that big bear. But the dogs, Rat Ogres and stuff did fine. So, GG. GG indeed. Ice Witch, I liked her spell cast. Unfortunately, I mean, ice magic just isn't very good. But it seemed like he was using his cooldowns as they were coming up, like, quickly. And he did hit a lot of blobs and stuff. So, like, his spell priority was good. It was just, like, not a prime spell. Little Groms did okay. Patriarch did fine. Light War Sled didn't come close to paying for itself, but it was good at disruption. And then the Kislevite Infantry and Light Cav did okay. Poor Big Bear. GG's, brothers. GG's. Yeah. Yeah, so then the rule break didn't matter, because the player with 1 too many single entities ended up losing. So, happens. Okay. Oh boy. Oh gosh. I have another live game to go watch, which I'll prioritize the live games over replays, because obviously we can go do replays at any point. And I personally like casting live games more, because then I don't know what happens. Obviously, since it's live. I would say bring Rattling in case of Elemental Bear. First time in a tournament was very funny. You're not done yet! You're not done yet. I'll message you. I have to make sure he's actually not done yet. Because we are playing double elimination. Which, if that is who I think that is in YouTube chat, he was just on stream, and it's his first tournament, so I gotta inform him. Alright. Whew! Seems every time there's a rule break, that player ends up losing. That is true, and I actually know why that is true. And it's not that the rules keep you into meta builds or anything like that. It's that if you break the rules, 99 times out of 100, it was a mistake. And if you know the rules better, you've probably played tournaments more, you know? So that's why you're not making rules mistakes, is you're more experienced in the community and you've been playing more. And then, like, statistically, if you're playing more against the tournament community and better competition and you're playing a ton, you're going to be a better player. So, yeah. It's usually like the person who makes the build mistake was new, and therefore they're probably going to lose, which is also why I try not to be a dick about rule stuff where it's like, you know, I'll wait to see if it even matters, because the person who made it's probably, like, I don't want to be an asshole, but the person who made the rules mistake is probably new and therefore probably not going to slam the tournament. Now, if someone comes in here and they're absolutely styling on people, breaking rules every single game, yeah, I'll get more aggressive about it. But most of the time, it's a pretty nice person who just didn't know. Yeah, I don't know what the rules are, but I slammed down 4 rogue idols and just kind of murdered some people. Is that a problem? Okay, I'm gonna do it again next game. Oh, still don't like that? Again next game. I still remember the double zombies against my Grand Cathay. It's true, anti-kaiju. Not every time. Not every time. Alright, eat a little bit more of my lunch. Greenskins versus Norsca. I'm excited. I like Stead. I haven't got to spectate him a lot. Seems like a nice guy. Hanging around. So I'll be good. Bavarot's a piece of shit. Hate that guy. I absolutely hate him. I hope he loses. The guy's a jerk. Gave my birthday party once. Spat in my cake. Just spat in it. Just said, hey, nice cake, bitch. Spat in it. Right there. Just right in front of everybody. Love the salad, guys. Wonder what he brings. What? I'm going to type a dot just to move your comment up. Oh, the Greenskins. Okay. Bavarad, I just mentioned why. You ruined my birthday party, which was not nice. Is Tomb Kings a better choice against Skaven? Generally, yeah. Yes, Juan. No, Bavart's great. He is great. Love that guy. Okay. Sorry. I was just saving some replays for us to cast in a little bit here. What you eating? So, you remember how I scrambled home, desperately trying to get the stream on time, and I was still 30 minutes late? So there's, sorry. There's a rules question that I gotta deal with. That I should know the answer to by heart, but I don't, so I'm gonna go look. He's asking how many of a certain unit he can take. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so this salad, I mean, is actually supposed to be filling for like a chicken pita. So what you do is you take, there's red pepper, pepper jack cheese, chicken, lettuce, spinach, onion, and tomato in here. And then I keep the ranch, mayo, and chili pepper seasoning, because you don't want to put it in there or it'll get like all mungy, you know, kind of like everything in there gets squishy and gross. So we keep those separate, and you mix them together, and you put it in, like, a pita, and you have this nice little thing. Yeah, we said fuck that, because I clearly didn't have time sprinting in here, so I grabbed the whole container of the filling without any sauce or the pita or anything like that, and just have been munching on it as I can, man. This is the life we're living now. It's a disaster. What up, Shagos? Thanks, little Trill. Wait, I don't know what that is, but it's not a plague claw catapult. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. What's happening? Who's around me right now? Sabavarat, also known as Bavanos, has Norsca. We have triple Marauder champions, 5 Marauder spearmen. No, it's a 4th Marauder champion, 5 Marauder spearmen, in the dreaded Norsca box. The long, legendary, many times feared Norsca box. It is epic. It is huge. It is probably not the most effective way to play Norsca, but all right. In the center of the box, we have 4 Broadhearts with javelins, 2 Norscan ice trolls, a Shaman Sorcerer of Fire with only burning head, and Throg, the Troll King, butt naked. Kaelwyn, don't you dare break me. I don't need to hear you chewing. I'm sorry. Way. I don't know, man. I don't know. If you tune into every stream all the time, I can guarantee you some Plague Claw Catapult action. On the other side for Stead and the Greenskins. The Moon Howlers. Whoa, the Moon Howlers. That's pretty cool. The Goblin Wolf Rider ROR. Just better stats, and they cause fear. 2 Orc Boar Boy Biggins on each flank, one of which is the Broken Tusks mob, the ROR that has the Encourage aura, otherwise just better stats. 1 Forest Goblin Spider Rider. We have 4 Squig Herds, 2 Stone Trolls, and a front line of Goblins, including the 8-Peak Loons, and Wurzag, the Great Green Prophet with Fists of Gork and Brainburster. You fucking love to see it. This reminds me a lot of my builds. There's some flavor in there that I don't usually take, like the Moon Howlers or Spider Riders. I'm also increasingly suspect of trolls. I haven't been taking them as much, but the core looks a lot like something I would bring. I like it a lot, man. Wurzag turns like goblins into just world beaters. They'll take anybody down. They're only 300 gold, as long as, obviously, you pair them with Wurzag. Goblins without Wurzag are, like, still a good unit, but not nearly as incredible. So the Greenskins are setting up a surround. Bavarat does have to attack in some form. He's currently just kind of standing in his box. But once again, as we mentioned before, we're, you know, it's newer players, so I'm sure he's busy looking at the surroundings and being like, what do I do here? Not like, I'm going to intentionally sit in this box, like, to keep my vigor up or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just, you know, being new. I didn't like this build, just seeing this was my first opponent. Which one was your first opponent? Sorry, there's 2 of them. Here we go. Brainburster is out. That'll give everybody better charge bonus and better melee attack, which is why he cast it before the melee started. I don't usually cast it before the melee starts because I don't trust my micro well enough. I'm doing a million other things, but that charge bonus will really help. So it is the right decision, though I usually don't trust myself to do the micro. Now, these Marauder Spearmen are holding very, very well. They do have charge reflection and charge defense versus large. So all that charge bonus means absolutely nothing in the end there. But the frontline fight is really where the Greenskins are going to profit. We can see those spinning loons already taking out Champ and rolling over a little bit of friendly fire as they go through there. And a big burning head down the line from Bavarat does send the Greenskin north flank into complete rout. In the back line, things are also going poorly for the Greenskins as the spear box does hold back all these cavalry. More boar riders charging in. They are going to shut down some of the hunters. And how long do these champions hold? As soon as they break, this is going to get a lot messier for Norsca. Another Brain Burster keeps that Bonewood Staff procced while a Wah is also hit. We can see 2 of the Marauder champions in the front line are breaking. Also some of the Marauder hunters. This is where it gets a little scary. And the Greenskins are getting a second wind so they can come back, swoop in, and maybe take out anybody who's routing. Now, the Marauder champions will be fine, but the Marauder spearmen are not feeling so good when other Marauder champions and stuff start. Oh, look at that spinning loon! Right through all those guys. That is so much damage. I know it's probably on cooldown, but a Brain Burster right there would also do really good work. But a charge in from the Boar Boys just after that damage is done might be enough to get these guys to mass rout. Yeah. So now the Greenskins are entering a new phase of the game, one that is very difficult to remember in the heat of the moment, and I have recently been trying to retrain myself on this, is backing off. So look here at this. Look at this formation from the Norskins. When you do a box, people are like, wow, boxes are so incredible and boxes are so strong. They are strong, but they have one key weakness. They have no agency. They have no mobility tools at all. So what the Greenskins could do here, and you'll see like a lot of super high level players do, players who are better than me, back off, just entirely back off. Just fuck the fight. Don't participate anymore, and chase everything down. Just chase every single thing down, and then come back for what's left, right? Because if you do that, you'll come back to almost dead Marauder champions, an Ice Troll, and Throg, things like that, right? But, like, you're looking at some Marauder Spearmen that are trickling back into the fight. These guys will thankfully be run down, but, like, imagine that these Marauder Hunter Javelins rally on the outside, champions rally. It's all about that rallying stuff that can really fuck you over in the late game. But we'll see. The Greenskins are not doing that. They are chasing some stuff down, which is fine. But they are mostly focusing on continuing the battle, never backing down. The second Wah is popped, and that's usually the last Wah you're going to get. Usually, most games you only get 2. Quick little Brain Burster, once again popping that, and like Wurzag plus the Wah buffs gives these Stone Trolls 74 melee attack. The Night Goblins have 70, Boar Boys have 66, so it is just insane, the melee attack values you can get. And for Norsca, all the chaff is gone. We're down to Throg, the Shaman, and the Ice Trolls that are leaving soon, but now this is where it's crucial. Can you chase down stuff, or will it come back? And it looks like they are. Stead is actually chasing down stuff pretty well. There are some times when like Spider Riders would return to the fight, and the Spider Riders are so close to dead that I would prefer they just chase something down. But overall, Stead is actually doing a pretty good job of chasing stuff. Also just shattering things. Like, so many of these units took such substantial damage that they just shattered outright, and then you don't have to chase them, like those Ice Trolls. So that's going pretty well for them. Wurzag gets another Norscan Ice Troll. And now it is a slow slog with Throg and the Shaman. But you should, as the Greenskins, you should be able to win this. You just need to stop things like this from happening. Because you don't really have that much meat left in your army. So if you do get back into just a chaff fight, that's all of a sudden going to get a little scary. Because the Greenskins don't have a lot of stuff to protect their Stone Trolls. And if your Stone Trolls rout too many times, they'll just shatter, right? So, running down some of these Ice Trolls, running down some Marauder Champions is certainly great. Great stuff in the Greenskins. Wurzag charges back in, knocks out the Shaman. And I've actually seen and casted games on the channel of Throg 1v a million an army. So your best friend at this point is the Greenskins, is going to be the balance of power. If you can just balance of power him, there we go. That'll be GG. But Bavarat will back out. Very well executed from Stead. Really liked it a lot. A couple whoopsies on the backline where he charged cavalry straight into Brace Spears, and you saw them just get absolutely massacred. But like, that whoopsie aside, he played the frontline fight of the early game well, and then the middle game and the late game played it really excellently. So yeah, I like the build a lot, but of course I like the build a lot. I mentioned at the start, it looks like a lot of my builds. Some different stuff with the Spider Rider, the Moon Howler, and the 2 Stone Trolls. I don't usually take those things. But overall, like the build a lot, like the play. A little whoopsie, but he clutched it back just fine. For Bavaret, the build is different than how I play Norsca. I tend to be very mobile with Norsca. I think the build was well thought out. I thought he executed it fine. The main problem is when you're in a box with a low leadership faction like that, if it breaks really fast, you know? So it's risky. And also with a box, it's really hard for me to analyze the play and be like, oh man, when on the left flank of your box, your spearmen were fighting, you should have had the ice trolls walk 5 inches to the left a little sooner. It's like, I don't have a lot to analyze. So all I can say is the box didn't have enough in it, and it was a close game, and I didn't see any huge issues. It was just like, anything that routed the Greenskins were able to run down. So if you only fight broken units, yeah, you can chase anything that is not shattered. So the normal routing. If it has a chance of coming back, it's a valid target. For sure. Scrolling through the values, I didn't announce a lot of them because I was just talking about the game in general. But, you know, if you're super interested in something's value, you can just pause the video when I scrolled over it. GG. Where is Krill? First beatdown of Empire I ever got. First match also. Oh. Yeah. Greenskin build was pretty good. Better be some Chorf gameplay when I watch this back. What up, Trader? How you doing, man? How you doing? Okay. I am going to catch some replays before we get so far into the tournament that they don't matter, right? Because if we get to finals and I'm casting something about, like, Longshanks versus Wyatt, and you know the finals is T-Rex with Grabbers versus Dr. Nerd, then you know that these replays don't matter. So let's get some of these done, huh? Everything is best of 1, so I don't need a blocker on the replays, since seeing what replays there are doesn't spoil you for their result, you know what I mean? Where it's a best of 3 if there's only 2 replays, you know, it's a 2-0. So what do we have here? Captain Rumschmuck versus Re Chiquita. I played with Captain Rumschmuck yesterday, actually. We had a good time. He's a good dude. I'm going to mute my microphone. No, there's no army setup phase. I can't mute my microphone. Shit. I was going to say, while they set up armies, I was going to take a bite and mute my mic, but never mind. Get fucked, human boy. Get fucked. So where was this? Captain Rumschmuck versus Deadlift. Okay, so this is round 1 of the top bracket. So whoever loses this one goes down to the lower bracket, but they're not out of the tournament just yet. So for Tzeentch, we have 2 Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch, 3 total. We have the Knights of Immolation Doomknight ROR, a frontline of Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch. 3 Pink Horrors? No, 2 Pink Horrors and the Chromatic Abominations. The Golden Griffin of Theurgy and the Herald of Tzeentch with pink and blue fire. For the Dwarves, we have 4 Dwarf Warriors, 3 Miners of Blasting Charges, 5 Thunderers, 3 Iron Drake Trollhammer Torpedoes, 2 Slayers, and Thoric Ironbrow. Now this, real quick, this looks like such a Game 3 versus any other game situation to me. Look at this Tzeentch build, man. Why? Like, why do all the Game 3 factions... I mean, Cathay is different, but like Kislev, all of the demonic factions, this doesn't look like a full army. It looks like he forgot to spend some money. I know he didn't. I know it's just the cost, because recently I've been playing Demons of Chaos, and I've been having a ton of fun with them. But this little bitch, this Herald of Tzeentch, this dog shit combatant, if you put him on foot with a spell and 2 abilities, he is 1,300 gold. Balthazar Gelt on foot with a spell and 2 abilities is like 650. That's stupid. It's stupid. Everything on this roster is way overpriced. The roster itself isn't that bad, but it's ridiculously overpriced. All right, rant over. How does this cost all your money? How? Where did the rest of it go? Rant over. We're moving on. But like, why is he so expensive though? He does nothing. He's just a happy little caster, but he costs about as much as Queek fucking Headtaker, who already costs too much. Moving on. We're moving on. But Astrogoth on release costs like 2 cents to kill an entire army of this fucking pink guy with a beak. $1 million! $1 million to cast a spell. Moving on. Okay. What are we doing? Searing Doom and Gehenna's Golden Hounds are trying to provide some disruption. Minus the blasting charges try and punish the Marauder Horsemen who immediately win the melee. And wow, the Golden Griffin is getting murdered. Hi, Kitty Cat. By these Trollhammer Torpedoes and Thunderers, they are just mulching this guy. The Pink and Blue Horrors are doing their best, and they are doing some good work. Another nice Pink Fire cast, and the Knights of Immolation doing some good disruption. I see good things here, but this is the tough part about fighting really wide Dwarven builds, man, is it's so hard to shut down all of their shooting, and you can get absolutely massacred, as the Golden Griffin is finding out the hard way. Thoric's running around giving his army some buffs, and Tzeentch is already behind on the balance of power, as they're 2 single entities. One's dead, one's down to half HP. That's brutal stuff. And the Knights of Immolation are already 1/3 HP too. Wow! The Dowie are holding, lads. The Dowie are holding. Oh man, those Thunderers. I love Thunderers, by the way. Thunderers are like one of my favorite units. Just look at them shooting. Look at them go. Love those guys. Still poking away at the Herald of Tzeentch, but the Doom Knights are already getting massacred, and we're at 2 minutes into the game, and army losses is on the horizon. And it's not that I disagree, man. It's just brutal. It's really brutal. This is the type of dwarves I enjoy watching. I know a lot of people hate dwarves. I really like dwarven builds like this, man. Tons of gunpowder, very spread out, very cool looking. I love it a ton. I know dwarves can be up to some sneaky shit, and I trust me, I know that. I'm not trying to pretend that I love every time dwarves are on screen, but like, builds like that, man. Love them. That was your first tourney game? Dude, it happens, man. It happens. Going through the values, it was a very short game. You're not going to see anything super exciting. Trollhammers did well. Thunderers did well. Dwarf Warriors held off Chaos Warriors forever. And the Minus Blasting Charges were around. Was that Captain Morgan, one gentleman? Yeah, he's great. Tzeentch roster, probably not a lot is going to have paid for itself here. The dwarves just super effectively focus fired down everything that did any damage, so yeah. All right, who we got up next? Harkin versus Salinator. We saw Harkin last new player stream. They did all right. I think they played, if I remember correctly, they played Wood Elves with like a buttload of Way Watchers. If I remember correctly. I think 3, which is a lot. Thunder's still looking awesome. Yeah, Thunderers are... Of the dwarves, Thunderers are my favorite unit. Like, in any meta, I just really like how they look. I like how they sound. And they have one of the best voice lines, man. When you click on a Thunderer, and, like, I can't do it because I'm not barrel-chested and badass like the dwarven voice actors are, but, like, Thunderers! It's, like, it's a little playful. You know, it's not super serious. Like, you click on something else, and it's like... Soldiers of the Empire! Or you click on zombies and they just kind of gurgle at you or something. It's all very serious. Like, whoever was doing the Thunderers voice line was just having a good day. He's just like, Thunderers! How you doing? And you can click on them while they're being attacked by, like, giant, you know, stone snake monsters, and they'll still just be like, Thunderers! How are you doing, Commander? I'm a little beset by foes right now, but I have time to talk to you. I don't know. I fucking love Thunderers, man. Alright, let's do this. Harkin versus Salinator. I believe Harkin was the Tomb Kings, yes. Harkin was the Tomb Kings. 2 Screaming Skull Catapults. A back line of Skeleton Spears, a front line of Tomb Guard. Ooh. Pure Tomb Guard. One of which has halberds, 3 are regular, and 1 is also the Kepler Guard, so 5 total. 2 Sparkle Stalkers, Cetra the Imperishable, and that is it for a pretty crisp and clean Tomb King's build. On the other side, we have the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, very, very popular. With all of his buffs popped at once, he can get up to 1,000 weapon strength, plus his Helm of Discord is a good debuff, and he is, of course, still a caster. We have a Blood Knight, 3 Vargheists. That is so much money. These 5 units that I've just talked about have to cost over 2/3 of your funds. So what do we have left? 2 Crypt Horrors, 5 Zombies, 2 Graveguard, one of which is the Sternsman, and a Corpse Card. Yeah, that's about what I thought. Though I will say, I don't want to be too much of an asshole where, like, Human Boy, every new player tournament, you see vampire counts, you say take less chaff, and then someone takes less chaff, and you get all critical. I wasn't trying to be critical, I was just noting that it's very expensive. I do like this kind of vampire counts build, and I think at the higher levels, like, if you see successful vampire counts players, they have builds more like this, where you have a lot of high-value assets that require a lot of micro, but they can get a lot done. Because if you just bring too much chaff, it is easier to handle your build, but also the chaff doesn't, like, do anything. So, it's easier, but there's a reason it's easier. Scream Skull Catapults are punishing the Sternsman and the Graveguard right now. And Vargheists are biding their time before they fully dive in. I'm curious why 2 of the Vargheists are very far away and 1 is close up. It is going to take a bit of damage now. Looks like the Vampire Count's micro is getting taxed a bit, and some whoopsies are occurring. Now, the Vargheist is just going to opt into the fight with the Eyes of the Desert, and they will get a buff. No, the Eyes of the Desert get the buff. Ooh, that's a little spooky. Second Zombie Summon out, really trying to stop these catapults from firing, and they're actually getting pretty good work done, too. They've actually almost killed an entire catapult. Damn, nicely done. Blood Dragon Lord will opt into the fight. He is next to Cetra. I'm a little scared, but we'll see how that goes. The other Sparkle Stalker is not in range to really punish him, so that's fine. More Vargheists opting in. This is a big old blob. I wonder if he has Invocation to Heck Off cooldown, because he could AoE cast it right there, and that'd be really good value. The front line, I imagine the Tomb Guard are going to do fantastically. With only 2 Graveguard throughout the entire front line, the Tomb King should actually win that front line fight. But the Vampire Counts put very little money into trying to win the frontline fight, so I'm not sure they care. As they finish off the Sparkle Stalker, one of the catapults is down, and the Blood Knights are now entering the fray. Trying to get a rear charge here over onto the Sparkle Stalkers, assist the Vargheists a little bit. Looks like they will get good shots down. ROR Seppi Stocks is all gone, and the Tomb King's frontline continues to whoop ass. This could be brutal. Helm of Discord lowering Cetra's melee defense down to 14. And he is surrounded by Vargheist. But on his big kitty cat, I will talk shit all day about the big kitty cat. I hate that mount. But the one thing it undeniably is, it is very tanky. So Cetra has taken this like a boss. Even throws Jaff's Incantation to Curse Blades on himself for a little bit more damage, but I think he's mostly doing it for the army-wide healing. And look at that. Just completely surrounded in these guys, even with his stats down. The kitty cat just provides such a massive HP pool. That it really can get him through tricky times. And the Tomb King's army passive and his spells all heal percentage base. So when Cetra's on his cat, the reason he feels so much more tanky is like raw health. You just have to get through so much health. And the Vampire Counts are, I'm not pretending they aren't, but any other Lord would have been fucking dead by now. Like Arkan the Black in that pile, dead as hell. Super dead. So Cetra, I'll shit talk your kitty cat every day of the week except for this one. The kitty cat really proving to keep you alive. Now, it hasn't helped him too much. There wasn't anything nearby to help him out of the situation, but he is taking forever to die. Tomb King's frontline is slowly winning out, as we've seen. Some Tomb Guard with halberds even fully killed off the zombies and are coming over. But the Vampire Counts just sacrificed the frontline fight. They didn't care about winning it, so they're fine with losing it. They won the backline, and that's all that matters to them. One catapult is still online, but both Sparkle Stalkers are dead. The Lord is dead. And after that, it is just so much chaff. Eventually, you will kill them all with cycle charging and healing and breath attacks. There's no shot for the Tomb Kings without Cetra or the Seppi Stocks. Dude, you should have heard the Dwarven quotes in Medieval 2 Warhammer mod. Would you like to have a drink with me? It's very odd. I think we are just in the cleanup mode, so I'm going to catch up with chat for a bit. If the Tomb Kings pull this back and win it, I will stop streaming Warhammer forever. That's how certain I am that this game is doomed. What was that squeal? Oh shit, what did I do? Did I do a whoopsie? I was hearing the last game, but I can't use the chat. All the demon factions are really overpriced. Yeah, for sure. I think they have I think they can be really fun. Like, I have been enjoying Demons of Chaos so much. I just acknowledge a lot of my stuff's overpriced. And honestly, when you're playing the Demons of Chaos, I think we're getting there slowly over the patches. Like, Plague Toads of Nurgle, they got buffs last patch, I believe. And they feel good now. They don't feel like overpowered or oppressive, but for 650 gold, they're a good disruption piece with armor piercing. They can actually threaten certain things. Like, they have a place. I think blue and pink horrors are fine. Exalted pink horrors could use armor piercing to give them a reason to take them over pinks, but like certain stuff feels fine. The lords are insanely overpriced. All of the demon lords are insanely overpriced, in my opinion. Well, the heralds, at least. The heralds. I'd have to look at the exalted things and really think about that, but the heralds for sure, I can say all 4 of them are stupid overpriced. The squeals when you tried to say thunderers? True. Once again, I just scrolled over the values. Things of note would be the Vargeists got really good value. Really, really good value. Blood Knights also did well. The Blood Dragon Lord didn't actually get the most value in this game for once, but really good use by Salinator of his high-value asset pieces. Liked that a lot. For the Tomb Kings of Harkin, Sepulchral Stalkers did well. Cetra did okay for a bit. Scream Skull Catapults did fine. I don't have a ton of criticisms about their play. Harkin played it fine. The main problem for them was target priority, I think. And to talk about this concept, you might say, like, I thought you just said in-game they were fine, but then target priority is the issue. Like, people have been asking, in general, for a build guide, and I've been thinking about doing it. It would take a lot of work. But one thing I would mention is it's very important. That's a poor choice of words, but it's important to know what's important. So when you're fighting the vampire counts, what are you scared of? And this is why the thing's going to be so hard to make, but you need to make a list for the faction you're about to face. You need to make a list of things you are worried about, and then you need to deal with it. So for vampire counts, in this example, we saw Salinator very well use Blood Knights, which are good, Vargeists, which are good, and the Blood Dragon Lord, which is good. He didn't have Graveguard and Crypt Horrors per se. Like, yeah, he had 2, but I'm not talking about a whole army. So when you're the Tomb Kings, you have to think. You're like, okay, I'm scared of all those things I just listed. Checklist. What do I have for the Blood Dragon Lord and Vargeist, flying single entities? Sepulchral Stalkers. Okay. Ushabti Great Bows. Also fine. And if they land, maybe Necropolis Knights, maybe melee Ushabti, maybe Tomb Guard with Halberds. That kind of thing. Blood Knights take a lot of the same tools. A lot of the exact same tools, actually. And then infantry and Crypt Horrors. Crypt Horrors, you'd need, like, archers or something, or halberds. And Graveguard, you want high infantry clearing tools, like your own Tomb Guard, or Screaming Skull Catapults, or that, the Wooshy Woosh DJ booth that I can't think of right now. Fuck it, you know the one. It fires a whole bunch of lasers, and I'm blanking on it right. Casket of Souls. You want that. Well, if you look at this Harkin build, it murders Graveguard. For sure. Murders him. And he's going to win the frontline fight every time. But I feel like he over-invested in winning the frontline fight. Because this build is guaranteed going to slap that fight. But as we saw in this game, Salinator put most of his win condition in the flanks. And then it's 2 Sepulchral Stalkers and Cetra versus a Blood Dragon Lord, a Blood Knight, and 3 Vargeists. And that's like just not a winning formula. So that's the tricky part about doing builds. And sometimes there is like build diff, you know, where if you build a nice balanced build where you're like, oh, I want to be ready for everything. I have 2 Sepulchral Stalkers and 2 Shopty Great Bows, and I'm ready for this. And then like your opponent just slams down like 5,000 Graveguard and 6 Crypt Horrors, no flanking tools whatsoever, sure, you can sometimes get cheesed, but in general, a balanced build is going to be a little better. So, yeah, that was a longer discussion than you needed, but it is something I just wanted to talk about, where it's like, land battle build guides are hard to do because I can't tell you specifically you should just take these units and you'll always be fine. It is much more about assessing what are you scared of from your opponent, and then bringing multiple answers to everything kind of tied up in one. In this case, we just saw an issue of, as soon as Salinator loads into the game, he sees 2 Sepulchral Stalkers and nothing else that can stop him. He right-clicks all of his units onto the Sepulchral Stalkers, and once they're dead, he won the game. And I guess that's the shorter version of a very long point of what I wanted to get to, where there was no backup for the Sepulchral Stalkers. There was nothing he had to be scared of. So it's just like, oh, cool, kill those, and that's it. So, yeah. Do I have a super easy solution for that? No. I'm just pointing out in this example something I wanted to talk about. The solution would be just vastly recommitting your resources from winning the frontline fight to supporting your backline. And what you could do, I guess, is turn one of these Tomb Guards into a Halberd as well. Don't put the Halberds in the frontline fight. You saw the Spearmen were in the backline, and the Tomb Guard were all in the front line. You could put the Tomb Guard in the backline, the Halberds at least, and then when those Vargheists come crashing down, the Blood Knights come crashing in, they're crashing into Halberds instead of just regular Spearmen. That's kind of a way to do it. Yeah. That'd be the shortest way to change this build. This matchup is bad for the Tomb Kings. I mean, yeah. I also lose it all the fucking time. Anyway. That was a very long... that was a very long description nobody asked for. But here we are. Jormungandr? Hell yeah. Marcus Wolfheart. Love that guy. I do love Wolfheart. I don't frequently take him. I know a lot of good Empire players do, but I feel like he does nothing, so I tend to avoid it. Artillery versus VC kind of redundant, yeah. Is a new turn, so I'm sure it's helping to someone listening. Yeah. Hopefully. Alright, we have Stead. You might say this build looks familiar, and because you saw Stead earlier on stream, though this was Stead's round 1? Yes, this was Stead's round 1 matchup. We have Wurzag, we have 2 archers, Night Goblin archers, and the Rusty Arrows. And then we have some Orc Boarboy Biggins and Goblin Wolf Riders on the flanks. The Moon Howlers again. Stead just seems to really like them. 5 Goblins in the front line, 4 Squigs, 2 Stone Trolls. So a lot of similar stuff, but now it does have 2 extra archers. On the other side, for... checks notes. Kaelin. We have Malekith up on his Black Dragon with Soul Stealer and Power of Darkness. We have some Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, Dark Shards, 2 Blackguard of Daggerond, Blades of the Blood Queen, and 2 Coltland Dread Knights. This is a hyper elite Dark Elf army. God damn. Malekith throws out a breath attack down the line. It looks like it was aimed at the Stone Trolls as they were still running in, or the Goblins. I don't think that one was a player issue. I think it was like 1 or 2 models were not connected yet, and then like the Dragon Breath attack aimed at them. Shit happens. We are seeing a little bit of lapsed micro in the backside where the Dark Elves are taking all of the charges and they aren't getting any counter charges. So a little bit of a whoopsie there. All the analysis I can provide is click faster, which is not super sexy or great. Malekith is going to try and land in this fight, maybe bail it out. No, he's just Soul Stealing as he flies overhead. Coldwind Dread Knights are nearby. And after the Waz popped and Wurzag's buffs wear off, all of a sudden the Coldwind Knights will probably win this, especially if Malekith joins them. But man, this is a greenskin game in the current meta. The previous meta used to be 6 skirmish cav and delay the game. Nowadays, or at least the meta I've experienced with greenskins, is slam them as hard as you can, as fast as you can. And if you lose the first engagement, you lose the game. Because I generally take Wurzag, and Wurzag doesn't want a long game. He wants to pop all of his spells as quickly as possible. He has no regen. He's very squishy, so if a long game comes out and he just gets Soul Stealered 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times, he's going to die. So Greenskins, in my experience, in the current meta, just want to hit you hard and fast, and it looks like this is what Stead did. And the Dark Elves are not really about that. Dark Elves want a protracted fight, because their Murderous Mastery is popping now, right? Look how many Dark Elves are still alive to use it. They didn't want the fight to happen this fast. Malekith's hardly had time to Cycle Charge and Soul Stealer. Yeah, so Dark Elves want a long game, Greenskins want a short game, and they just slammed into them. Made that game short one way or the other. Kaelin, yeah. Yeah, elite units versus the Greenskins is kind of an oxymoron, because, like, look, we have a Wob popping right now. The elite stats you're paying for versus Greenskins, your Blackguard of Nagaron, your best unit, and they have Murderous Mastery popped, 46, 49 are your melee stats. This Goblin with Wah, not even Bonewood Staff. Let's see if I can get a Bonewood Staff. Yes. Okay, Bonewood Staff is popped now. This Goblin has 56 melee attack. The Stone Troll is 96. Orc Boarboy Biggin, 59. You're never gonna outstat the Greenskins in the current meta, the way they play, or at least if people are playing with Wurzag, you're just never gonna outstat them. So going elite versus Greenskins can be really risky. Now, certain factions can do it. I don't want to pretend. I think Captain Rumsmuck, who was on the stream earlier, no, we were playing Kislev, but anyway, he's done pretty well against me with like a massive amount of Chosen, like just taking as many Chosen as you can, and he has beaten with that because goblins don't have great armor piercing. But for elves don't have the highest armor. So even your elite units, like the Blades of the Blood Queen, have fucking 100 armor because it's being sundered right now. While Chosen have like 130 or something. So trying to out-elite the Greenskins just isn't going to work. Yeah. Generally what you want to do is the Dark Elves, like I was talking about, is, as you're talking about as well, you shouldn't go elite. You kind of want to go wider because you want the fight to take as long as possible. So Malekith can do more stuff, so you can get more Soul Stealers, you can get more charges out, and really wear down the Greenskins. But also, the Greenskins are going to tear through their first 2 Wa's, they're going to use all their spells, and they're going to really run out of gas. And whatever you have left in the late game can probably just drag it out. Dark Elves are bad against Greenskins. Yeah. That's true, but I'm talking about more in general. So even if you're not playing specifically Dark Elves, you can, understand how the Greenskin faction works and try and do that. Once again, scrolling over the values. Don't want to delay too long on just like what got what value in a very short game. Okay, what was this? So this was Stead versus Kale. This is a different matchup. So this must be in the losers bracket, right? Because I recognize that name. We saw it already. It's Dabeluv versus Kaelin in the losers bracket. So whoever loses this one is out of the tournament. Both of them lost once already. Yes. Cool. Nico Boy Blue, that is true, though I've had issues getting through Chosen with those units. Like, Chosen are just real good. Alright, what do we have? For the Dark Elves, this is the other way around. So now we just saw, I know I'm butchering your name, but Kaelin on Dark Elves versus Greenskins. Now Kaelin's on the Greenskins versus the enemy's Dark Elves. We have 4 Shades, 4 Blackguard Corsair Handbows, 3 Witch Elves, a Supreme Sorceress of Dark, and a Feral Manticore. Versus the Greenskin, we have Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, very spicy unit, the Moon Howlers, and some more wolves. A whole bunch of Orc Boys, Orc Boarboy Biggins, Crimson Killas. Ooh, 2 Black Orcs, one of which is Crimson Killas. And then 3 Night Goblin Archers, Wurzag, and some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. A bit of a whoopsie. Throwing an Here We Go melee attack buff on a unit that is not in melee yet is a bit of a tragedy. So that's just super quick. Wait until they're actually in melee to throw the melee buff on them. Witch Elves and these Shades are fighting back the Goblin Wolf Riders. But the Orcs and Night Goblin Swighoppers are doing much better against the Shades and Black Orcs or Handbows they caught. More Orc boys also streaming in. Black Orcs should make quick work of this formation. And the spooky, scary lady was trying to cast Marzipal's Black Marzipan or whatever. There it is. And it's going off in its own direction for its own reasons. Hooray, hooray. Borzag is popping some buffs. Night Goblin Archers are trading onto the Shades, which will be a good trade for them overall, because Shades are much more expensive. The Crimson Killas are crimson killing these poor little Witch Elves, and the first Wah is out, which should really help the Greenskins clear through all these guys. Yeah, they're doing alright. They're doing okay. Orc boys in the back, dealing with a lot of these skirmish tools well. Night Goblin Swighoppers buffed up by a Wah. They are rampaging right now, but at least they'll die gloriously. Who else is dying gloriously? Might be our boy Wurzag. Though actually the Sorceress of Death is getting her ass kicked. Alright, Wurzag, get her! Get her! He has a high enough melee attack to hit her and stuff, but this Soulsteer is going to be bad because it's going to do a lot of damage to him since he has a small health pool and she's going to heal up from it. But Archer is supporting the fight. Overall, it's going okay for Wurzag. I would still prefer that he gets the fuck out of there, but, you know, he's doing okay. Shades are trading well onto the Crimson Killers. The Greenskins have pushed back much of the Dark Elf ranged. But this Dragon Lady and Manticore are getting out a steep price onto the Greenskin leadership for their efforts. Night Goblin Swighoppers and the Night Goblin Archers might be able to kill those Shades. Maybe, possibly. As Wurzag continues to be attacked by randos. By filthy, stinking randos who terror at him. Another Here We Go is popped on a Black Orc, and again, that Black Orc is not in melee combat to make use of those stats. W literally means letter W. Oh, didn't know. What would you call a black... Would you call a black marzipan a horror? I've never had marzipan, actually. Alright. Wurzag's terror out lasted for a little bit. Now he chucks down a net onto the big caster, but he's going to need to use this moment to run away as he does take more damage. The Greenskins are falling behind on the balance of power, and I tend to agree. Wurzag is routing. I imagine the Manticore will try to chase him off, though I think... No, he's not faster. It might actually keep up with him. Elsewhere, the Greenskins still have some decent infantry left, but versus what the Dark Elves have brought, that is a lot of ranged, which if it gets to a hyper late game scenario, the range can all just run around and shoot you forever, and eventually you will die. Most of the Greenskin Archers are routing. They don't have a ton of mobility tools left, do they? Some Goblin Wolf Riders. That's about it. So without agency, we've talked about it before, but I generally think that having infantry in the late game is a bad win condition overall. Infantry just don't really get to pick their fights. It relies on your opponents making mistakes for infantry to win games. Depending on the infantry. But in this case specifically, it's like, okay, if we get down to that Black Orc and that Orc boy, you have so many Black Orc Corsair handbows that can just shoot at them over the course of 7 hours and kill them. Only last week I watched the film Night of the Black Marzipan. I don't even know what that is. Is that a thing? So armored wide shaft mid-range infantry versus Greenskins Dowie. Dwarves are actually really good in Greenskins, yes. They are. Saber's Regnum has a really annoying build that I just can't do anything against his Greenskins. It's like 4 gyrocopters and an Ironbreaker box. And I just can't. I can't. Even when I know it's specifically coming, I can't fucking stop it from happening. We are watching a bit of mop up as the Crimson Killers get kited by Shades. Supreme Sorceress of Dark is just cycle routing these archers until they feel like shattering. Wurzag is off the map, so a lot of the Greenskins taking a dip in the leadership department as these Black Orcs are rampaging from Witch Elves that I cannot see. There they are. So they're rampaging after some Witch Elves while taking free shots in the back. I think this is about Ogre. There it is. Shades mixed value, overall not amazing. The 2 single entities did great. Witch Elves did fine. Black Orc Corsairs did quite well. On the other side, Wurzag did okay. His Black Orc struggled to really find a fight as all the elves just ran away. Night Goblin Squig Hoppers did pretty well. Yeah, especially considering everybody wanted to run away. The Squig Hoppers did well. Night Goblin Archers also did fantastically. Long live the Knight of the Night Goblin. The Orc units struggled. The Goblin units did well. It's the very short thing. Shoot it to pieces. With the Greenskins, it's difficult. It's difficult to shoot Sabrus's Ironbreaker box thing. Because the Gyrocopters can dodge almost everything you want to do. They can dodge effectively without taking like any damage. Alright, Salinator just sent me a whole bunch of replays, but I need to figure out which ones we've already seen. What else do we have? Excuse me. Human Boy 1. Alright, we're saving more stuff. Where the hell is my scrolling? There we go. So on the top side of the bracket, they have gotten all the way to semifinals. This is cursed anyway. This is cursed. You're going to see spoilers if you care. Tzeentch Grabbers awaits the winner of Stead and Salinator in the top bracket. See who gets to finals. And in the bottom bracket, Dr. Nerd awaits the winner of Wyatt and Dabby. Bavanos Leyend, Cameron Smuck, and Longshanks still fighting it out. That's where the bracket's at so far. Make Feral Wyverns turn illegal. You could. I don't know how much it would solve, but you could. The One True Nick versus Loki. Neither of these names are recognizable for what's in the tournament. Like, I don't know where to look for a Loki. Who the hell is this? Alright. Fucking trolls. You've played better than what you imagined your first turn is here. Can't tell if you're being sarcastic because of the little name at the end, but hopefully you meant it and hopefully you had fun. Does Vindictive Glare make the Bone with Steph go? Yes. Alright. So what do we have? We have Grand Cathay versus Vampire Counts. In a neat, orderly little box, we have 1 Firing Rocket, 2 Woojing War Compasses, oh lord, Meow Ying the Storm Dragon, an Iron Hail Gunner, 2 Jade Warrior Crossmen, and a whole bunch of Jade Warriors with halberds, plus some Celestial Dragon Guard also with halberds. Okay, on the other side for the Vampire Counts, we do have a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord up in the sky with most of his normal abilities. Zombie Summon, Heal, Breath Attacks, all that sort of thing. We have triple Vargeists, 2 Crypt Horrors, 2 Graveguard with great weapons, some Skeletons and some Zombies, and 2 Corpse Carts for some buffs. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and the Vargeists are going to have to carry this game on their back. There is no shot this Vampire Count frontline is getting through. Alright. A little bit of fire coming on the Blood Dragon Lord while he threw down a summon. Sorry, I was distracted by a quick tournament question. Thanks for attending the tournament and providing some fun for us old people who do not play the tournaments. Fire and Rocket is under attack by these little zombies. They are doing okay. With only 6 melee defense, the zombies actually... 0 melee attack, why? Oh, Disdain of Dragons actually lowers their melee attack to straight up 0. That's pretty funny. So the Woojing War Compasses will get a ton of free spells off that'll kill a lot of the front line pretty easily, but I don't see a lot that can deal with the Vargeists. It is down to the Iron Hail Gunners. And then Halberds, of course, as long as your halberds kill them in melee, right? And the Vargeist don't back off. But a breath attack onto the Iron Hail Gunners does get them to rout, and we saw how much damage the Iron Hails did to the Vargeist, but with those guys routing, I don't imagine the Counts will let them come back in any capacity. So, that means you have to kill the Vargeist in melee, which neither Miao Ying or these halberds are honestly that good at doing, if the Vargeist are microed properly. If they just sit here in the halberds, yeah, they'll fucking die. Miao Ying's doing her best to fight back, zombies closing in on all sides, and the Crypt Horrors have even joined the fight. The Helm of Discord is down, plus his 1k weapon strength total is here to stay. The free spells are starting to come out for Cathay. The Blood Dragon tries to support the frontline fight. More Vargeists are waiting in the distance. I think we have lost one Vargeist. I think one is straight up dead. The other two are fine. I don't see what the third one is, so I'm going to assume he's dead until I see otherwise. Yeah, I don't see him. The free spells are hitting all of the undead rather hard, and none of the corpse cards that were brought, neither of them, I should say, have the AoE healing. They just have the stat buffs. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord did throw out an overcasted Invocation Hex trying to heal up his troops, also healing up himself a little bit, and the Cathay box is starting to fall apart. Just a smidge, just a tad, just a touch. And the Blood Dragon Lord continues to spend his efforts trying to kill the Jade Warriors. I would have thought, I don't know if it's the correct decision, but I would have thought he'd be going after Miao Ying or the Wujing War Compasses, but he is focusing his time on the front line, which is interesting. Kind of surprised the Terror Out didn't come in for these Jade Warriors. Did they just Terror Out while I wasn't paying attention? Looks like maybe. More free spells from the Wujing War Compasses. Gonna hit the Vampire Counts front line. A little bit of friendly fire onto some of the Cathay areas. But still overall pretty good for them. Vargeist getting a rear charge off onto the Celestial Dragon Guard. Wow, do a lot of damage. And a big breath attack. Taking the Dune Dragons down to their healing cap in sight. Just under half HP. Interesting. Two Vargeists quite injured. As long as they play safe, though, they could get healing from the Blood Dragon Lord. Or they do have the Hunger, so if they're in melee, they can get healing from other sources. Blood Dragon Lord continues to put pressure on the Dune Dragons and other halberds. The bounce power is going against the Vampire Counts at this point, and I would tend to agree. Though the Wujing War Compasses always kind of count towards your bounce power, despite the fact if they use all of their free spells. So now these guys are useless. They don't do anything. Ooh, and Cathay's starting to rout. This could be the beginning of the end, because if you don't want to just spam out Invocations of Nehek all the time, you can have your Vargeist chase routing units to proc their hunger and give them some healing while your Blood Dragon Lord does some cycle charging and some of that stuff. One breath attack left. Some Jade Warriors and Celestial Dragon Guard are grouping up. Does the Blood Dragon get the nice breath attack down that he wants to? He is turning around. It looks like he's thinking about it, and there he is going for it. Nasty breath attack straight up kills that Celestial Dragon Guard. The Vampire Counts are back on the balance of power as more and more Cathayans are falling apart. We have two healthy Jade Warriors that are still in the fight, and then the three single entities. But remember that the Wujing War Compasses really are not combatants at this point. Without any bound spells left, they are useless. Vargeist probably going to go after these Iron Hail Gunners who have rallied, but it looks like the Cathay player is busy, has not realized that, and the Vargeists are going to sneak up on them and get a little bit of a pick off. Oh no, bit of a mistake here from the Vampire Counts player, though. The Dune Dragons are allowed to rally on the high ground with a good amount of HP considering how elite they are. The Vargeists would have been needed to chase them down, but it's too late now. You don't want to go fight them. They're rallied, so a Vargeist alone would take too much damage. Routing more of the Jade Warriors inside the box. Wujing War Compasses pushed out. These Vargeists are going to have to be more like dog units. They're getting some good cycle charging in, so he has been playing well with them, but I think at this point in the game, they need to be focusing on stuff that's routing and making sure it doesn't come back. Because another big thing about allowing stuff to come back is if these Jade Warrior Crossmen came over here, they would give everybody that harmony bonus, and that would be brutal. But the Blood Dragon Lord is currently taking Miao Ying to task, absolutely destroying her, and that will end this game. So I am being a little hypercritical. Like, the Vampire Counts played this very well. They did great, but just noting little improvements they could do. Once again, for Grand Cathay, similar to my Norsca commentary earlier, when you're inside the box, there's not as much I can really talk about what you could be doing better. You played a box, you targeted your spells well, you targeted your ranged stuff well, it got shut down. Like, it's harder to notice any mistakes or things Loki could do better because like their formation was so tiny that barely anything moved. I actually saw an action in a game of 1 versus Kislev having only Torox Minos and a giant left. Anytime, Cometrian. Told you that flying made it easy to negate the box. Sorry for caps. I thought you just got angry halfway through your sentence. Yeah. High Complex, did Complex Slayer show up? Is CJ Complex Slayer? Anyway. The one true Nick, whoever you are, even though all you people have different names from your Total Tavern. Very nice stuff. Really, really well played. Honestly, and I mean this honestly, whoever this is on Challenge, they keep changing their name. Whoever this is played vampire counts better than I do. So they should be very proud of that. I'm not a great vampire counts player, but like that was really good vampire counts play. Right. Everything I had to say was nitpicks. That's all it was. Oh, hey, CJ. Yeah, you sent me a replay the other day. I don't remember if I cast it. Honestly, don't remember. But I do remember you sent it. I remember watching it. But yeah, one true Nick. If you're out there, that was real good. That was real good. I would have lost for sure. Like, no joke. If I was fighting that Loki box, I would have lost. Because I saw several points in the game where I can see what mistakes I would make. Because it's easy to watch a game and point out mistakes. It's much harder to like play it correctly. And I always forget about my Vargheists and then they die. You know, shit like that. So, yeah, that was really well done. I thought you were boned. When I saw the builds, I thought you were doomed. Very, very nice stuff. Vargheists, good value except for the one that got obliterated. Graveguard did fine. Cryptors did okay. Shit like that. Yao Ying did her best. Celestial Dragon Guard did okay. Fire and Rocket really didn't have that much time to fire. Wujing More Compasses did alright. Jade Warriors mostly got crumped. So, GG. And I played by a newbie. Newbie is relative, right? We just like... If you don't play in tournaments all the time, you're close enough to newbie that we just... You know, throw you into these tournaments. So what the hell did I just cast? There it is, Human Boy 1. Okay. Greenskins versus Dark Elves. Who is it? Loki and Longshanks. Okay, so we just saw Loki. So this would be in the lower bracket. So whoever loses this is out. Cool. I'm gonna mute my microphone and take a bite of my food. All right, I scanned over the builds for you while I was chewing. Wow, okay. No time talking about that as Malekith is getting picked. Effigy of the Git netting him in place and a sundered armor from the Rusty Arrows poking him down as he gets surrounded by Stone Trolls and Squigs. He's taking a ton of damage. All I was going to say about the builds is it's a very heavy kite Dark Elf build with Malekith up above versus a Greenskin Rush. We can see Boar Boys, Trolls, Goblins, and Squigs all charging over, but Malekith getting really punished for his aggression. Now, Soul Stealer being Soul Stealer will get him out of a lot of trouble, and as long as he keeps running, the Greenskins won't get that much damage on him. And does this turn into an overcommitment? I have lost many a game not finishing off Malekith or the Dark Elf Supreme Sorceress, and they just Soul Stealer heal up, and it's a terrible time for me. And while all of these assets are not supporting the frontline fight, the Greenskin Rush we talked about earlier, where they just want to slam into the front line, absolutely break your back, only half the force is doing that. So the Dark Elves are under half the amount of pressure, and they're actually holding, and they're firing back, and they're fighting, and the Greenskins are taking a lot of damage. So that looks like the classic fate of Malekith. Did the Dark Elf player make a mistake? Yes. Did you try to punish it? Yes. But the reason so many people hate Dark Elves right now, and the reason Malekith and Soul Stealer in general are so powerful, is it's like your mistakes get glossed over very, very quickly. So Malekith's already fine. He's back at 100% power. He's chilling up in the sky. And meanwhile, the Greenskins are desperately trying to get back to the front line and get back to their jobs. Archer's now lending support, but they're lending support to a front line that's half dead. The Trolls, the Orc Boar Biggins, the Goblins have taken a lot of damage without their Squig support and things like that. So things are looking a little rocky. That being said, Greenskins are still up on the balance of power. I just know that balance of power doesn't know Malekith like I know Malekith, and I know Malekith is actually full HP. Ooh, unless he does this. If he gets Effigy to the Gated right in front of these archers before he's had a chance to Soul Stealer up, he might be fucked. But he's just gonna dive back into the Savage Orc Arboys in front of Stone Trolls? In front of the Board Boy Biggins? You absolute madman! What are you doing? Uh-oh. A Wah and an Here We Goer pops. 98 melee attack on the Orc Board Boy Biggins, plus bonus versus large. And Malekith is still very low. A bit of a whoopsie there from the Dark Elves, believing in the Malekith sauce too much. And listen, I'm a Malekith sauce believer. I know he's bullshit, but he's not that bullshit. You can't just land in the boys like that. He's taking a lot of damage. He's still wandering away, taking very little damage from the melee, but there he is going to route, and if he routes, they can chase him off the map, and with that, the Dark Elves are in severe trouble. That was too close to the sun, my friend. Icarus and your wax wings melting away. So the Dark Elf front line is holding. Their back line is continuing to shoot and do good damage. It's just like without Malekith to back you up, that is proving a little difficult. The Greenskin Archer Corps is still alive and fine. Dark Elves could push up and really pressure those guys, but I mean, if Malekith actually dies, which he just did, this game is just turbo over. Greenskin Cavalry will be returning to the fight. All the Dark Elves leadership is tanking a bit, which, like the High Elves, they have really good leadership. It's not that they need Malekith, but they would like him, and the Greenskins are a momentum-based faction, so if you start breaking, they're going to just keep coming and coming and coming. And then without your dragon in the back line causing problems, without Soul Stealer and all these things, Wurzag's not going to be under threat, so the Greenskin leadership core is going to be intact. They'll be fine. So it is looking doomed for the Dark Elves. If Malekith hadn't landed that second time, I honestly think they could have clutched it back, but the second landing was just too much. Loki with his balls of steel just landing on him. Squigs are so pathetic but cute. Squigs are really good. Squigs are really good. They're also very cute. Alright. Wurzag, he did okay. He's just supporting. Stone Trolls and River Trolls didn't get a lot of value. Board Boy Biggins did okay. Archers did well. They did well. Squigs did well. Gibby Gabbos did fine. Yeah, they did fine. On the side of Loki, Malekith got shut down really hard. Coldwood Knights, I didn't even notice where they were on the battlefield. They must have died before I got done with the Malekith drama. Repeater Crossbows did well. Handbows mixed. Witch Elves mixed. And then Dread Spears and Black Crusaders did it okay. GG. Dwarves versus Grand Cathay. Oh, God. This might be a good one for me to take a bite and just like put the map up in the sky. And you guys can watch it from top down. This one is drawn out. Watch on ×4. Oh, God. All right, all right. Wasn't this a match that should have had too many ranged dwarves? Does it? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this is when they replayed it. Because, yes, I know what you're talking about. There was one build that had way too many ranged units. Alright, okay. For Cathay, we have a Grand Cannon, 3 Crane Gunners, 3 Jade Warrior Crossbows, all with shields, Peasant Long Spearmen across the front lines, and Jade Warriors, and Miao Ying with Talents of Night and Regrowth. For the Dwarves, we have Rangers, Bugman's Rangers, some Miners with Blasting Charges. We do have the Goblobbers, 2 Thunderers, more Rangers, a bunch of Blasting Charges, Thoric, Ironbrow. And I am going here. And you're on your own. I'm gonna take a bite of my food. Fuck you. All right, I'm back. Did I miss anything? I missed Thoric dying. Entering into the late game, we have Bugman's Rangers and Rangers in the distance, firing at some tattered Cathay troops. And Cathay is pretty much down to Miao Ying. That's about it. Dragonback Slayers will be a problem for unless you can Talents and Knight them. Yeah. It's a bunch of Dwarven infantry versus Miao Ying. Bugman's Rangers getting chased by Meow. Yeah, she could actually be a huge problem for them. Because she has regrowth, too. So if she ever turns into her human form, she can throw a regrowth on herself real quick. Oh, fuck. Okay, I don't know if you want to turn into the human form right in front of the Dragonback Slayers, though. Uh-oh. Okay, she's fine. She's chilling. She is outpacing them by a lot. Chases down these guys. Oh, God. Okay, I can see now how this might be protracted as Bugman's Rangers kill their own. Everybody's just trying to shoot little Miao Ying. Alright, Dragonback Slayers are back. They're gonna kick her ass. She throws down another regrowth. And Cathay is already down to pretty much Miao Ying. Something's behind here. Some Peasant Long Spears. Those Dwarf Warriors will go take care of it. Archer's trying to shoot her. Healing Cap is within sight. And Dragonback Slayers still have a lot of love left to give. It was a Salinator, it was a rule break. IDK why I sent it to you. Was this one the one that had so many? I thought this one didn't have nearly as many ranged units. She's back into her dragon form. She continues to battle it out. Bugman's Rangers are almost heal capped because they actually do have regeneration. I always forget that that unit even exists. And Miao Ying is the last character left. It is officially 1 versus 544. As she smokes straight through like 4 different units. 13 in total. Oh, I see. We are in minute 17. As Meowing continues to try and kill stuff, turns back into her human form. Continues to fight just like a metric fuck ton of dwarves. And I think the Dragonback Slayers are hanging back because they don't want to get Talons of Night or whatever. Meowing's getting low, though. "18 minutes. We will continue on at ×2 speed. She gets poked. Poked. By all these miners. Back up into being a Durgan. Lands, but this makes her much more vulnerable to the Dragonback Slayers, if they can find her, which they can't. That might find her, though. Oh, she's gonna take a lot of damage from those Slayers if she stays here. But she does not. She's just charging all over the place. There, she's sub 2,000. Sub 1,500, there we go. Dwarves win it. Meowing's a boss, but she's not that much of a boss. 3,800 value. Jesus. Not enough, though. Dwarves crushed the rest of Cathay pretty quickly, and then just had to deal with her, though. That was nice from Captain Rum. Okay, yeah, so people are saying, what do we have, 8? Oh, yeah, he has 1 too many Miners of Blasting Charges. Yeah. GG. GG. Okay, what else do we have? Vampire Counts versus Greenskins. Salinator versus Stead. We've watched a lot of Stead's Greenskins and a lot of Salinator's Vampire Counts. I might pass on that one. The one true Nick. Oh, so Salinator's not the one true Nick. Huh. Okay. All right. We have given both these players plenty of spotlight, though, so they will not be missing their time in the sun. But I'm good. I'm good on casting VC and that Greenskin build specifically. All right, let's do this. What is this? One true Nick on the High Elves versus a Long Boy on the Beastmen. Where was this now? If you're out there, One True Nick, what's your name on Discord? Who the hell are you? Oh, it's Wyatt. Yeah. All right, that tracks. Wyatt's pretty good. Oh, we got Vanguard right away. We got Vanguard right away. So we have 4 Illyrian Reaver Archers, including the Heralds of the Wind for the High Elves. We have 3 Spearmen, 2 Rangers, a Dragon Prince, Imric, and a Life Caster with Dweller's Blow and Regrowth. I had to remove Felix and Gotrek, accidentally grabbed an extra miner. Captain Morgan, that tracks. It's okay, buddy. It happens. On the other side, for the Beastmen, our first sighting of the Beastmen today. 4 Ungor Herds, 3 Ungor Raiders, the Black Horde's Ravagers, the ROR Gore Herd. 3 Minotaurs, 1 with great weapons, 1 with shields, and 1 the ROR Butchers the Calcan Guard. Malagor the Dark Omen with only Flagadoom. And then we have some Centaurs with great weapons, looks like 3 of them, and then 2 Chaos Warehouse with poison. Oh, there's a second Dragon Prince, just kind of off-kiltered, so I didn't see him. All right. Game starts immediately. The High Elves also back off immediately like cowards. Don't want to just charge their skirmish cav straight into the enemy infantry and archers. I see how it is. You fucking... You... Hold on. Hazel, is someone here? Never mind. It's just a cat. Ed's just knocking stuff over. Me and the dog both heard the same thing. There was a loud thump by our front door, and I was like, did someone just come into my fucking house? Alright, I'm back. Imric dives straight back into the archers, and while that is good disruption, he's going to have to be very careful not to get overeager. Those Minotaurs could surround him in an instant, and looks like the great weapon ones are trying to. The shield ones might have wanted to for a second just to like keep him on the ground, but the great weapons would actually do more damage in the long run. Dragon Princes with the Dragon Horn from Imric are going to slap these Centaurs with great weapons, but here comes the Beastmen flank. I wonder if the High Elves have even seen it coming yet, and I can see this getting very bad for the High Elves quite quickly as Minotaurs catch up to their actual target. Malagor is also trying to stop him on the ground for a bit, and the flank has come through. Illyrian Reaver archers are beset by Poison Hounds and Centaurs, meaning their speed is lowered enough that they cannot get away. The front line for the High Elves will start collapsing as the Minotaurs have joined the fight, so the Beastmen should be in a bit of ascendancy here. Now, the Dragon Princes trading very effectively versus the Minotaurs. I honestly didn't think they would do that well versus these guys. Do they have Lord of Dragons debuffing them? Nope, just badass. Okay. Cool. Dragon Princes did beat those other Centaurs, though, so on the bottom side of the fight, they will be rejoining the effort. Looks like they're going to rear charge some infantry and Minos. Somehow Archers ended up on the frontline fight. I think that was just a bit of a whoopsie. And here we go. The Dragon Princes got a very good early start on the charge, but after the longer, more drawn-out the fight got, the worse it got for them. The Minotaurs are now just going to go chase after Imric. I think they should probably finish their food, kill the Dragon Princes outright. They won't catch Imric unless he just stops in some archers, but anyway. Regardless, it seems it is what it is. Illyrian Reavers mostly surviving the Beastmen flank attempt, which I'm a little surprised they're doing that well. Dogs have rejoined this area. They maybe are just going to chase Rangers. I still think the dogs should just follow around Illyrian Reavers for a while. Deal with them. More Dragon Princes opt into these Minotaurs. The Minotaurs are like, listen, we beat your stupid friends. We'll beat you too. And they continue fighting, though they are much lower on health than they used to be. But a full health Butcher's account guard's like, you leave him alone, you big boy. We're coming to kick your ass. And the big great weapons are like, big bro, we got it. We didn't need you. Shut up. That's all my analysis is now. It just descends into very bad impressions of units. Meanwhile, the Mage of Life throws a regrowth onto herself to escape Malagor and the Centaurs, and Imric is coming back to have words. It looks like he might even just breath attack that line of Centaurs. No, he's just diving. He's just going for it. Nope, just T. If you know that reference, then good for you. If you don't, then I guess we're not friends anymore. Nope, just T. So many Greenskin games without pump wagons. I hate to kill Sunset. No, well, like, pump wagons generally aren't that amazing in land battles. They're good, but they're not amazing. Because you can't resummon them for a super low price point, so, like, you get what you get. They run in. They'll do a lot of damage if they get the situation they want, but if they don't get the exact situation they want, they die super quickly, and then you're just out however much gold. So, yeah, I haven't really noticed too many pump wagons in land battles or them being that oppressive. I know the problem, though. In testing, you can replicate it super easily. It's just in, like, in the real game, it very infrequently happens that pump wagons, like, solo out something crazy. Cometrian, I agree 100%. I agree for sure. I think the Centaurs or Great Ones are taken here because you need the armor piercing to get through Dragon Princes and Silver Helms, but yeah, overall, I think that Great Weapons are pretty underwhelming. So Imric is slapping the Butchers of Calgangard right now. They are down to half HP in the blink of an eye. They are continuing to battle out the Dragon Princes and such. The balance of power is favoring the Beastmen, though I do worry that if the Butchers die, I guess there is still another Minotaur, but like, if the Butchers get completely bodied, if Imric or the High Elves together can take out that other Mino, then Imric can solo the rest of the army. Why is it referred to as a land battle? Aren't all battles fought on land? I think that's what it used to be called when naval battles were a bit of a thing. Like Shogun 2 actually had naval battles. Malagor is once again diving onto the Mage of Life. She is very close to routing, and Imric might come over and say hello, though it looks like he still has to deal with the last of the Minotaurs of Great Weapons, who have fought 2 different Dragon Princes and then Imric himself. So they've gotten pretty decent value, but they will rout at last. Malagor's back up in the sky. Quick little Flock of Doom cast for him, but he is after that Mage of Life. And I think the Beastmen are going to clutch it out, as Imric is, for all intents and purposes, alone at this point. Yeah. 3 Dragon Princes, technically you can't count Imric. True. Facts. 6 Dragon Princes left, charging in with 170 health between them is not a lot. And the last regrowth is going for Imric. But there's too many healthy moo cows that are going to surround him and beat the paste out of him. Dragon Princes shatter. Minos. Ooh, another Dragon Prince. Hello, you. Flock of Doom does a little bit of poke damage to them. And what is that? Ooh, a nasty Dwellers Below could actually turn this game. The Beastmen getting a little lazy on their micro and end up with a gigantic blob that all get Dwellers Belowed. It doesn't do as much damage as it used to, but it still does plenty. And those guys are all running. Ooh, yowie. You could have picked a Dowie. Still don't know if it's enough to turn this game on its head, but that was a really nice Dwellers Below cast, as the Life Caster is killed off entirely. No more healing, no more magic for the High Elves. Imric's trying to get away from all the Minos, but it's just not looking like a real thing that he can do. Another Flock of Doom, just trying to pressure the Dragon Princes a little bit. Slow poke damage over time. I think that's about it. Is Imric's charge attack like to take him deeper into the Minotaurs? That should be GG. Should. Lord of Dragons popped? Yeah, Lord of Dragons popped on the Minos with shields, giving them negligible melee stats. Still, with the Dragon Princes and Rangers routing, I imagine you will very quickly here see Imric tank down to negative 55 leadership, and that'll be that. Boop. Good game, though. Good game, though. Imric not getting as much value as you would suspect. I know he did a lot of stuff. It's just like, he technically didn't get a lot of value. I thought he was fine. Dragon Princes did okay. Illyrian River Archers, mixed overall. The Life Cast with that 1 Dwellers Below got 1100 value. It was a brutal cast. For Long Boy, the longest of boys. Wait, Long Boy won this one. Ha! Long Boy beat Wyatt. That's kind of crazy. Good for you, Long Boy. Not to be a dick, but never would have guessed. Wyatt's very good. Like the one true Nick is Wyatt, and we saw him play a Vampire Counts game, and I said he played it better than I could. So then to have Long Boy beat him, that's nice. Good job, Long Boy. Good job for you. Good job for you. Everybody, give it up for Long Boy. Let's go. If these two faced off again in the finals, like if one true Nick goes through the losers bracket and ends up in the finals, I would bet on him again versus Long Boy. So I don't know. Let's see if we could do it twice, but I think we got to take the win. Take the win, Long Boy. Anyway, Minos did great. Senegor was great. Opens did fine. Goreherds did all right. Ungor Raiders did fantastically. Yeah, GG. GG, brothers. GG. Running low. Running low on replays. I will gather some. Okay, so where are we at? Harkin versus DGK, so that's where I last saved. We'll save this from Longshanks. And Babaret. And Sonic Buttrock, who is also Wyatt, who is also that person we just saw, and I forgot his name again. The one true Nick. The one true Nick versus... Oh, okay. Alright, so this is the order those go in. Interesting. One true Nick on his vampire counts versus Tzeentch. We have not seen a lot of Tzeentch today. Very well. Very well. We'll do it. We'll do it. Where are we at in the bracket, by the way? How's the bracket doing? All right. We have a finalist awaiting their date with Destiny. We'll do our best to catch up. This isn't the loser's bracket, so whoever loses this round is out. We have one True Nick / Wyatt / Sonic Buttrock, whatever you want to call him, on his dreaded vampire counts versus W on Tzeentch. We have a Lord of Change, an Exalted Lord of Change of Tzeentch, and then 3 Pink Horrors, the Chromatic Abominations Blue Horror ROR, Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch, more Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch, some with Halberds, some without, and we have the Severed Claw Aspiring Champions. For the vampire counts, we have a front line of zombies, 3 Graveguard, 1 Blood Knight, 2 Vargheists. There's a 3rd Graveguard I missed. There's a 4th Graveguard I missed. Oh, there's 4 Graveguard. Good God. Anyway, 2 Vargheists, a Blood Knight, some corpse cards that are currently getting sniped out extremely hard right now. We have Manfred von Karstein with Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech, Summon, and Invocation to Heck. No Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. All right. Okay, you'll love to see it. You'll love to see some change. Speaking of change, the Lords of Change are now surrounded by Blood Knights and Vargheists, which will be a terrible time for them. They need to try and get out of here, as the Blood Knights will rip through these guys. With their low armor values on the Lords of Change, the Blood Knights' lack of armor piercing, but their otherwise jacked stats, will just do so well here. Because it's like, oh, the only thing I can't deal with, heavy armor, is the only thing you don't have. Cool, I will eat you alive now. While the vampire counts, mobility stuff is tied up in the back, trying to really pin down and isolate big single entities. The frontline fight is going well for Tzeentch. Chaos Warriors can chew through a lot of zombies, and the Graveguard are just now entering the fight to try and get some stuff done, though they are being pin cushioned a little bit by the glowing lights of Tzeentch. Lord of Change does get away. The Exalted Lord of Change. The basic Lord of Change is still working on it. But I have long complained about how slippery the fucking Exalted Lords of Change are. Anything with a bird model is generally a giant pain in the dick to kill off. I hate those things, but I hate other things more. I just hate these things a little bit. Manfred lands back in. We are still in a pretty even game state at this point. Unfortunately for the vampire counts, all that stuff dedicated to try and get these 2 single entities down. The Exalted Lord of Change is still at a full HP, the other one's at half. And in the meantime, their front line wasn't getting the support it might have otherwise gotten. So overall, I think Tzeentch is fine with how the early game went. Now, we have a point-blank blue fire cast into the Vargheist. The Exalted Lord of Change is in the middle of Vargheists and Manfred and still has shields up, is how little damage it's taking. Blood Knights are also here, though. They charge into the background. They want to hit the Pink Horrors of Tzeentch, though. Now they are locked down in Chaos Warriors with Halberds. Take a bunch of damage, decide to back off. A Fury Summon from the Exalted Lord of Change fades away as Graveguard push their way through the front line. Vampire counts are up on the balance of power as Chaos Warrior routes. We'll see if he is actually chased. And more Pink Horrors will be beset by Graveguard, who should be able to kill those guys rather simply. Manfred is under attack from the Lords of Change as Blood Knights and Vargheists join in the combat. They should do good work, but I say that a lot, and they really just struggle to do so. Manfred departs with the Spirit Leech onto Lord of Change. Looks like they're going to focus that one down. They just want to kill it off rather than spreading their damage out between the 2 single entities. The Lords of Change continue to try and walk out of here, but Vargheists doing their best to block them in while Manfred gets out. The Elite Warriors of Chaos are still holding very well. We saw 1 Chaos Warrior break, and he's already back. So Tzeentch's front line is killing it, absolutely chilling, while the Vampire Count's mobile elements are still doing quite well, and honestly, the Graveguard are doing okay too. Another Pink Fire of Tzeentch. Those have been spammed out. Not doing as much damage versus the Graveguard as they do versus like zombies and such, but it is something. It applies Warp Flame, I guess. Lowers their armor a little bit. Somehow the Lords of Change are still alive. No Kairos and Regrowth shenanigans to blame it on. They're just chilling. But the Graveguard did finish off that Pink Horror we mentioned earlier, and the Vampire counts are slightly up on the balance of power. Lord of Change in the sky taking his Spirit Leech. He's getting low. If you can get him in that demonic instability range, he is mega doomed. Quick blue fire pokes Manfred. Doesn't do that much damage. The second one follows it up, and that one does a little bit more, but Manfred could heal himself at any moment that he actually felt the need to. Something is happening here. It's a Tzeentch army ability, sacrificing the Severed Claw, saying, fuck you, I don't care about you. I don't give a single shit, as they attempt to kill off 2 Graveguard and a zombie. But at the price of like 500 HP off the Severed Claw. Ended up being like 800. Not that bad. I was joking. They have a tiny model count, so they don't take that much damage from an ability like that. So I understand what the Tzeentch player was doing. I was just being silly. Vargheists clean up some more stuff. Chaos Warriors are starting to falter, and all of the demonic units for Tzeentch are falling apart at the seams. Without Kairos and his regrowths, the Severed Claw are mortal. They can be taken out. And look at these Vargeist, man. We talked about it earlier, but Vargeist control is so important for vampire counts in the current meta. And if you can keep your Vargeists alive and healthy, they can do so much work for you. Exalted Lord of Change's fire is fighting in the sky. He's going to summon some Furies to help himself, but the counts are so far up on the balance of power at this point, and I also agree. I don't think it's bullshit. I think it's for real. This Lord of Change is one melee attack from crumbling. Severed Claw are actually on their way out, too, as the Graveguards smoke him. Big blue fire onto Manfred, but it's not going to be enough, man. He has so much healing he can throw on himself. He'll be fine. I don't know what Tzeentch can do from here. For April Fools. Yeah, Phoenix King, yeah. Just depress everybody further. You got it. There's that demonic instability at last. The Lord of Change is doomed. With that, army losses is going to hit. And all of Tzeentch is doomed. Good showing from Loki. Hopefully he enjoyed himself. Also, a player with the name Loki playing Tzeentch tracks. That just tracks. All right, for one, True Nick, his Vargeist did okay, Blood Knights did okay, Manfred did great, but the Graveguard really showing up this round for the vampire counts, killing all of those halberds quite effectively, much more effectively than I would have imagined. So, good for you, One True Nick. Wyatt, Sonic Buttrock, One True Nick, whatever you want to call him, is clearly showing his vampire counts is pretty spooky. I would rate his vampire counts at, like, regular tournament player level from what I've seen. Like, if we played best of one like this in a normal tournament and he got to play vampire counts versus me, I'd think that would be a coin toss. Like, I really do. Yeah. I could beat him. He could beat me. I don't think I'd be shocked either way. In a best of three, the more I have watched of One True Nick, it feels like his vampire counts are, like, quite a bit better than the other factions I've seen him on. Though, in general, as a player, I have been pretty optimistic on him since I first saw him in one of my tournaments. I think if he sticks with the community, he'll be pretty good. But, yeah, really having a good showing on his vampire counts, so that is quite epic. How's the tourney going so far? Really good. Really good. All right, let's keep on keeping on. So then we have Harkin on the Lizardmen versus Dr. Nerdgash on the Skaven. And that is Krokgar. All right, calling it now. Harkin lost. Dude, ever since I tried Krokgar in that quick battle versus Khorne where I got completely bodied and he did literally nothing, anytime I've seen Krokgar, he gets like sub 500 value and just dies. Pumped to see some games today. Oh, we've had a lot of games today already. There's more to come. We do have Krokgar, and while it is a Chad pick to pick Krokgar, I do think he is very, very sad. He brought a lot of his abilities. We have some Feral Cold Ones and Cold Riders on the low ground, Feral Cold Ones and Cold Riders on the high ground, so 4 and 4 of each. We have 3 Saurus Spears, 2 Skink Cohorts, the Umbral Tide Salamander Hunting Pack ROR with Stock, and then a Skink Priest of Beasts with Flock of Doom and the Manticore. On the other side, for the Skavinos, we do have 2 Wolf Rats, looks like both have poison, 2 Rat Ogres, 4 Poison Wing Globes, a front line of a shit ton of Clan Rat Spears and Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves in the front line. I think I mentioned the 4 globes, but in case I didn't, 4 globes. You have the Council Guard, Storm Vermin, ROR, Unbreakable, Halberds, the Teethbreakers, Rattling Gun, ROR, and Ickit Claw with Howling Warpgale and Flensing Ruin. Why did he not go with Cold One Spear Rider? Such a good unit. That unit sucks and you know it! Anyway. My mod's trying to bait me aside. We are into it. Rattling guns showing their typical rattling gun ways, with only like 5 of them firing that's out of the corner of their eye. But this is going to get brutal real fast. As, did that Hand of the Gods just fucking miss Ikit Claw? Anybody else see that? It just went right over him. Anyway, the Globes are going to murder the Saurus, which is why you usually don't see any elite infantry into Skaven at all, and these Saurus are just going to get bodied for their efforts. The Cold One flank is a little late. They are not yet here to join the party, and the front line is already entirely dead. The Salamander Hunting Pack is going to have a pretty good time firing in. Nothing outranges them on the Skaven build, so as long as they stay on top of it, they can stay out of range of those Skaven and just do what they want to do. Hand of the Gods, aim of the potato, pretty much. Manticore Summon is flying in there. The front line of the Skaven, the Rattling Guns are trying to fire at the front line of Lizards, which it can't see over its own front line, so rip in peace, you. And let's see what the Lizards can do. If their cavalry can stay out of the Globe's sight lines, they'll be okay. Ooh, how did this happen? Clan Rats just ride up onto the Umbral Tide, and they are doing some decent damage to them. There we go. Umbral Tide are going to run away now. In the backfield, something is happening. That is a Flensing Ruin overcast onto Kroq-Gar and his Feral Cold Ones. Cold One Riders will dive in onto the Poison Globes. Do need to shut them down, so that is a good shout out. And the Manticore is currently doing a lot of damage to the Teeth Breakers. I don't know if the Feral Cold Ones in them can carry this entire game, but boy howdy, they are going to try. Yeah, a little delayed on these charges, though. They're just kind of coming in one by one, rather than all at once and really swarming the Skaven. Cold One Riders will get here, though, and they will stop these Poison Wind Globes. The second Manticore Summon should be available soon. After the first one fades is usually when you have enough Winds of Magic to get the second one out. Kroq-Gar did stay in the entire Flensing Ruin, so he took about 2/3 of his HP bar in that attack, and Cold One Riders are sneaking up now. One of the Globes is routed, a second one is routed. The third one is routed, though, so this is really, like, legitimately the Lizardmen's way back into this game, is if they can shut down this last Globe and this last Teethbreaker. The Skaven build does not have a lot of murdering power. It's mostly chaff and then those things, so you could still turn this game around. It's not over just yet. Teethbreaker is beset by Cold One Riders, who are doing real good. They're doing real good. They're doing such good work just standing on top of those guys. God, I hate Cold Ones. Cold Ones in general, man. They fail me so often. And now that they've lost the plot, they are just going to get nuked by the Globes right in their face. Yep. God, I hate Cold Ones. Fuck them. Such a jank-ass unit. It's all the Lizardmen have for cavalry, but it is pretty jank. Where did this full health guy come from? Okay. He is charging the Council Guard. He needs to be charging the Poison Globes and the Teeth Breakers, so a little bit of a whoopsie on the target priority here. The Council Guard want to fight the Cold One Riders, so that's not going to be ideal. Kroq-Gar in the back is chasing off some Globes. That is fine. Teeth Breakers continuing to fire. Looks like into Cold One Riders. This King Priest of Beasts needs to go get some work done elsewhere. Now, most of the Globes have been shut down. Most. But yeah, that full health Cold One just sprinting straight into the Council Guard is going to come back to haunt the Lizardmen. Rear charging from the Rat Ogres and Dogs supporting with Teethbreaker fire over the top. That is a full health Cold One just straight up dead. And the Globes peel themselves from that other Cold One Rider. At this point, things are starting to look a little doomed for El Lizardos. I'm reading chat for a bit. I heard the Hand of the Gods. I didn't see it, though. Oh, I can watch it on my own thing. All right, Hand of the Gods. Show me what you got. I'm watching it on my left screen. Because I know it was on the screen. Damn it. That delay is longer than I thought. All right, things are still fighting, but I don't want to miss the Hand of the Gods on the other screen. That. Dude, just shoot it. What the fuck? How far behind is this thing? I don't care about the game anymore. I want to see this Hand of the Gods. This is all I want. Alright, he's still chasing shit, so I have time. Where else are we? Kroq-Gar's still chasing some Globes and some stuff. The Teeth Breakers are under assault by feral cold ones. Ichor Claws dealing with Sora's spears. That could be a bad time. Alright, I missed the Hand of Gods. It's just gone. It's just gone. Krokgar's value bet 456. 571. Army losses will hit. And a summoned Manticore immediately is gonna army loss. That's funny. That's funny. I'm funny in the wall. Another Bob's Burgers reference. Krokgar ended up with 613. Yeah, as Phoenix King's pointing out in the chat, I liked the build from the Lizardmen overall. I don't love Saurus, like you could cut them, sure. But overall, I understand the idea. It was just like, your micro has to be kind of perfect, and you need to hit everything all at once, which is not an easy thing to do. And we can see that if the Skaven have time to turn and focus fire one thing and then focus fire the next thing, they can just sweep out the competition. So it's brutal. It's brutal. And that is one of the reasons that, like, a lot of people hate Skaven. I love Skaven, but there's a lot of people that hate fighting Skaven, and I get it. I'm not shocked when people hate Skaven. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, God. I don't wanna. You can't make me. You can't. I don't wanna do it. No! Not Nurgle Khorne. It's the worst matchup. It's the worst matchup, man. It sucks so bad. Oh no. When people are like, they don't do this as much anymore, but they used to. Man, land battles are all blobs, and everything's blobs. It's like, sure, when CA designs factions poorly, and in game 3 they were like, Nurgle, Khorne, and Slaanesh. You guys don't get any ranged units. Everything's just gonna be an AoE blob. Fuck you. You suck. And, Immortal Empires launched and got rid of all that, but if you still take 2 of the factions with very little ranged, and a lot of AoE, for Nurgle AoE healing, and Khorne just stuck with mostly melee shit, yeah, you're gonna get some blob fights. So this is one of the OG blob fight matchups. Ugh. And I just hate it. I just hate it. Cyrus, you're thinking about joining me on the rat train? Hell yeah. So for the Nurgle build, we do have Kugath Plaguefather. He is an artillery piece to force the enemy to play with your box, but also he does have Mortis Engine and AoE stat debuffs, and he has healing, so he is great in the box as well. We have the Barons of the Bog to reduce everybody's attack damage around them, Nurglings and Plague Bearers for bodies, a Soul Grind of Nurgle, and Uncle Frunkle for more AoE punishment and single entity dueling. For SEMs, is the cultist on his cart an SEM? I forget if the cart is or not. I actually forget that. On the other side, for Khorne, we have the Herald of Khorne already popping the Locust of Wrath to give his guys enough melee attack to punch through here. Cultist of Khorne with the summon. We have some Minotaurs, a crap ton of Chaos Warriors with dual weapons, 2 Throwing Axe Cav, and the Bloodbrute Behemoth ROR Gorgon. What we do have to be careful of, though, is that this Herald of Nurgle has already taken a shit ton of damage, and he has to back off. Thankfully for him, Kugath cannot bring Rancid Visitation, so he can't just get point and clicked dead. It is? Alright, then that is 4 single entity monsters from Nurgle, which is 1 too many. We will see if it matters. Both the players from this are in the same clan, so hopefully they wouldn't cause too much of a fuss. Isn't blobbing like this against the rules? No. We've seen a lot of blobs and boxes lose during the day. Blobs and boxes aren't usually the strongest way to play, but versus Khorne and Vampire counts, yeah, you can form a pretty nasty fucking blob. Alright, a lot of Nurgle's infantry are fading away, but the balance of power is going in their favor, which just kind of shows you how this is going overall. Uncle Frunkle is in here, throwing down Defiling Deluge to damage the people around him and heal himself, while the Bloodbrute and Minotaurs attempt to get some damage out. And more Nurglings are dying. which will eventually leave Nurgle without too much support. The Herald of Nurgle's still in here, which I find just wild. That you would have thought he would have run away a long time ago. Skirmish Cav, I don't know what they're throwing at, but they should probably be throwing at either the Barons of the Bog or single entities. Looks like they are throwing at the Barons. And the infantry are all trying to swarm in here and attack, but that means they're all going to be taking the Mortis engine effect from Kugath, so they're all taking a crap ton of damage. Yeah. Bloodletters are here. Barons of the Bog fading away. And that leaves only Plague Bearers to support the 4 large single entities. Harold Khorne is his name. All right. Yes, anyway, for anybody questioning, yes, this is one too many of the big single entities. The Cultist of Nurgle would have to not be on a shrine. But it happens. Uncle Frunkle takes a nasty chunk of damage, though the Herald of Khorne is also falling back. Ooh, and he pops Locust of Wrath, giving everybody around here a crap ton of melee attack. Now, some of the Chaos Warriors are starting to falter and rout, because again, they're all in here, so they're all hitting that Mortis engine effect. Uncle Frunkle's heal cap is within sight and closing in. Soulgrinder's also taking some damage, and the Cultist is doing his AoE heal passively, but he's not that good of a combatant. Plague Bears are officially gone, meaning there is no more chaff whatsoever for Nurgle. Every shot is a shot against a big single entity. The Herald of Khorne has stayed in here too long, and now he's stuck here, because if he backs off, I think he's too low of HP. I think he'll just start Demonic Instability crumbling. So he's stuck in the fight, which could leave Khorne without a leader. Minotaurs are backing out. Looks like they want to charge back in later, and the Herald of Khorne actually will survive and back off for now. Minos are back in. Bloodbrute Behemoth continues to battle against 4 large single entities. What was that? Defiling Deluge is like a Soul Stealer type ability, so it'll probably heal cap Uncle Frunkle and do a lot of damage in the meantime. Kugath taking a little bit as well, Soulgrinder taking a bit. I think the Bloodbrute Behemoth should focus down the Soulgrinder and Uncle Frunkle and then have to deal with Kugath later in the game. It looks like he is going for that Soulgrinder, who has taken a lot of damage. His leadership is faltering a little bit. The Minos are also in here doing good work. The Herald of Khorne's just standing off to the side. Meanwhile, Skirmish Cav are going to cycle charge in and out. The Soulgrinder is so close to Demonic Instability crumbling. There he starts to go. Does he stop? Nobody knows. No, he does not stop. Okay, Soulgrinder's dead. Straight up dead. And losing all that ammunition might make the bounce power a little bit better as the big boy himself, the Bloodbrute Behemoth, turns to start fighting Uncle Frunkle, who is down to half HP, a little less, as the Minos are also going to rout. A lot of Chaos Warriors are also routing. Can the Bloodbrute seriously hard carry this? Herald of Khorne is running back in. He is going to pop his Locust of Wrath. That's all he wanted, but now he's taking the Mortis engine effect of Kugath, and that gets him so close to Demonic Instability that he might just die. Yeah, he's dead as hell. That Herald of Khorne is mega dead. Goodbye, my friend. Bloodbrute Behemoth charges back in. Gets a big shot onto Kugath. No, it's not onto Uncle Frunkle, and Kugath still has plenty of healing he can give himself, so this is going to unfortunately be wasted damage. And the Bloodbrute's actually close to routing now that the Lord died, and if he routs, the game's going to be over. Like, it's just going to army loss you flat out. Minos are trying to return to the fight. Skirmish Cav are continuing to battle, but there's the big heal from Kugath, and that'll army loss you for sure. Yeah, I think we needed to focus down Uncle Frunkle rather than splitting our damage for Khorne, but yep, this is one of the OG super fun matchups. All melee versus Nurgle, who is incentivized to heal blob. What up, Samaric? Kugath 5,000 value, Uncle Frunkle 2,600. That's really the only thing that had to pay for itself. The other side for Captain Rumschmuck. Gorgon did fine. Minos did okay. Chaos Warriors did okay. Throwing Axes did great, but you probably want more of them. GG. Yes, the Longshanks, that was one too many big single entities. FYI. What is this now? Bavarat versus both. Okay, it's Leyenda. Once again, in the lower bracket, so whoever loses this is out. And I'm going to update my bracket just so I know what we're dealing with. So in live time, there are 4 matches left to be played. They're all linear. It's the winner of player A and B, and then whoever wins that fights C, and whoever wins that fights D, and whoever wins that fights E. All right. Norsca versus the Tomb Kings. We haven't seen a lot of Tomb Kings today. We have the Casket of Souls, 2 Ushabti Great Bows, 2 Sepulchral Stalkers, 2 basic Ushabti, a front line of Nehekar Warriors and Skeleton Spearmen, some Skeleton Spearmen in the back line, and Cetra the Imperishable on his horse with a Death Lich Priest with Spirit Leech sprinting out into the fray. All right, that's a little wild. For Norsca, we have 3 Norscan Ice Wolves, 3 Skin Wolves, 4 Marauder Champions, 2 Marauder Spearmen, Throg the Troll King, and a Firecaster with Burning Head. Sounds good. Nasty shot from the Sepulchral Stalkers onto the Armored Skin Wolves. Ooh, Armored. Fancy schmancy. I'm a little worried that this Tomb Kings build has too much shooting and not enough to defend it, as the Sepulchral Stalkers will now be beset on all sides by dogs. They are super dead. They are the deadest dead you've ever done did. Rip. Meanwhile, Nehekar Warriors and some Ushabti sprinting out there. We need the Skeleton Spearmen to also go up and support them. Chosen of the Gods, Ushabti Great Bows have already killed an entire Marauder Champion, and they're working on even more with the Casket of Souls offering some support. Though I do wonder what's going to stop these dogs and Skin Wolves from going haywire on the back line. Sepulchral Stalkers looks like they were kind of riding out to go meet them, but they just got ignored, and now they're woefully out of position. As the Chosen of the Gods and the Casket of Souls are doing good work over there, but that's not going to be enough. Nasty Burning Head will hit these Skeleton Spearmen, doing a crazy amount of damage to them. And the Skin Wolves and Norscan Ice Wolves get stopped up for just a second by the Lich Priest to death, but it's not going to be long enough as they swamp onto these ranged units. And that's going to be a dead Chosen of the Gods, a dead Casket of Souls, and maybe a dead Cetra all in one go. Somehow the Sepulchral Stalker actually lives. It looks like Norsca's blobbing up awfully hard around this area, which the Sepulchral Stalker is firing onto it could do enough damage to get a mass route going. Kind of surprised they didn't stay and finish off those Sepulchral Stalkers on the low ground. Huh. Tomb Kings are up on the balance power for now, but their front line is falling apart. And those ranged units have a lot of balance power locked up in that ammunition that they can't currently use. One of the Norscan Ice Wolves is gone, but the Chosen of the Gods continue to get work done. Cetra continues to get work done. This Casket of Souls is going down. I do think we'll be seeing Norsca just skyrocket on the balance power in a couple seconds here as the front line officially starts fading. The Nehekar Warriors died. The Ushabti are so close. Hanging on for now, and another nasty Burning Head is going to take out an entire spear unit. Half health from a spear unit. Sepulchral Stalkers do peel the Skin Wolves of their own accord. Chosen of the Gods, still clutching to life. Just as I say that, they actually fade away. And the Casket of Souls is gone. Now you can see Norsca is in the Ascension. Lich Priest of Death trying to help out the other Ushabti Great Bow that is also being shut down. Cetra's trying to duel Throg, though Throg might honestly just beat the King of Kings. Uh-oh. Why not Arkin if he brings Spirit Leech anyway? I don't know. I think he wanted Cetra for the anti-large dueling, but Cetra's not that good of a duelist, man. Bow Shabti are dead. Reg Shabti are dead. Seppi Stocks are dying. And that'll leave just Cetra and some Spearmen to try and carry the whole Tomb Kings, which they're trying their ass off. He's fighting back against Throg, okay. There's too many unwashed savages of the north. Is this where I can watch the Minecraft Dip and Sauce? Hell yeah, brother. This is a Minecraft 24-hour stream. Another Burning Head will clear out more Spearmen, just reducing the amount of chaff protecting anything of use. Sepulchral Stalkers did kind of sneak their way out here, but Skin Wolves are just going around the Skeleton Spearmen to get to these guys, and then the Skeleton Spearmen just outright die, and the Tomb Kings will FF. Good attempt there from them. This is Roblox. Hey, Captain Morgan. How you doing, buddy? So, for Babarat, Ice Wolves and the Skin Wolves did just fine. 4 Marauder Champions didn't get a lot of value, but I guess they pushed through stuff. For Bolfanov. This guy. For this guy, I do think Chad is right that you can combine. If you're going to take a Deathcaster anyway, you could just take Arkin instead of both of these heroes and then save some money. Other than that, I like the elements of your build. You just had too much shooting and not enough to defend it. So maybe cut, I guess, the Casket of Souls. Casket of Souls usually underwhelms me. Cut the Casket of Souls and keep these two, and get some more infantry with the money you'll also save on your main position. That could give you more space for your guys to shoot. Because it was a good start. Your range tools were targeting the right stuff. Good targeting there. Really nice that I saw the Chosen of the Gods shooting at Marauder Champions and blobs of things, because that's what they do. A lot of people have the Chosen of the Gods shoot at like Throg, and then most of their missiles missed, because that's not what they're going to do. So like, your unit priority with your range attacks was good. You just didn't have enough to keep your range stuff online. Alright. So where are we at? This is One True Nick, Wyatt, and Dr. Nerdgash. Okay, this is also in the lower bracket, so whoever loses this one is out. You mean the Herald of Khorne? Yeah. We get some Chaos Dwarves. Oh, versus Warriors of Chaos, and holy shit, that's Zarthoriel. But why? But why is that Zarthoriel? Why is the Lich Priest of Shadows banned? Because he's a campaign exclusive unit, and while he himself is not a problem, the main problem is just opening that door. Like, there is a perfectly reasonable reason that the Lich Priest of Shadows should be allowed, and I agree 100%. But then you just get the people that are like, okay, but if he's allowed, what about this unit? Well, if he's allowed, what about this unit? Well, if that's allowed, what about this unit? And at some point, it just, like, is not worth the arguments over and over again. All right. Chaos Dwarves, we have a Sorcerer Prophet of Death up on the big Bale Taurus, so the most expensive mount. 3 Hobgoblin Wolf Rider Archers, 1 Infernal Guard Fireglaive, 1 Infernal Ironsworn, 3 Chaos Dwarf Warriors Great Weapons, 2 Hobgoblin, sorry, just Goblins. And then a Bull Centaur under Great Weapons and a Death Shriek Rocket Launcher. On this side we have Zarthoriel with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. We have 2 Feral Manticores, 4 Skirmish Cav, 3 Chaos Spawn, and a bunch of Marauders, some with Great Weapons, some without. The Ever Chicken lives? I don't think he'll live for long, but man, he's trying. Death Shrieker Rocket Launcher is targeting Sartorial, so just kind of putting constant pressure on him. The Skirmish Cav, these Marauder Horse Masters will have to start firing back on the Hobgoblins. It looks like they are a little asleep at the wheel and have been taking some free damage from those Hobgoblins, who actually have a pretty insane range. 130 compared to 90, so the Horse Masters will have to run at them if they want to get in range. So Arthuriel continues to get taxed by all the things shooting at him. The Marauder Horse Masters and Chaos Spawn and Marauders are starting to move up. The Chaos Spawn are also being forgotten a little bit, so we have some micro mistakes here from the Warriors of Chaos player. Because they just want the frontline fight. Like, their frontline is so much better than the Chaos Dwarf frontline. You can see here the Chaos Dwarf Warriors are already getting murdered. Goblins are getting murdered. This Marauder penetrated deep into the back line to get onto the Infernal Guard Fireglaves. So we just needed to see, like, as soon as the game started, Chaos just needed to forward. Just run at them, because that's their advantage. The enemy Skirmish Cav is better. They have artillery, that kind of stuff, so delaying the game isn't in your interest. Big Overcast Searing Doom onto the Infernal Ironsworn does a little bit of damage. Death Shrieker continuing to try and shoot at Sarthoriel. And Marauder Horsemasters are here to do stuff. Don't know what they're going to do, but man, they're trying. Spawn and other Marauders zoning off the 3 Hobgoblin Wolf Riders. Largely, I would just ignore them at this point. More Spirit Leeches for poor Sarthoriel, who's having a terrible time existing. And Bull Centaur Renders with great weapons will massacre this Feral Manticore pretty easily. Bounce power shifting against the Warriors of Chaos, and I tend to agree. So Arthuriel no longer the 50% missile resist monster. Yeah, he has 20% physical resistance. End of story. That's it. He has no missile resist, no spell resist, 30 armor. Yeah. So Arthuriel takes a big shot, and then he overcasts something somewhere, causing him to die. His Searing Doom attempts to hit the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, but mostly dodge it. One of the Manticores is killed by the Bull Centaur Renders. The other one is still trying to fight those Fireglaves. Spawn and Marauders are wandering slowly after the Skirmish Cav, but they just won't be able to catch it. And the Plague of Rust that was cast brings the Infernal Ironsworn armor down to 90, which is still pretty impressive. Chaos Dwarf frontline is folding, but their Skirmish Cav and single entities are doing just fine, so they don't really have a problem there. And I don't know what Tzeentch can do, Warriors of Chaos can do from this point. Bale Taurus Breath Attack does enough damage to the Marauders to almost get them to rout. The Chaos Spawn are all three still around. One's at full health. The other two are low enough that I think the Hobgoblin Wolf Riders and Infernal Guard with Fireglaves just firing at them could do pretty good damage. So some of them are actually going to bounce out and stop those guys from shooting very much. Death Shrieker is firing at stuff. Looks like it's firing at the spawn. Damn. Damn. Sorcerer Prophet's in here. Bull Centaurs are somewhere. Ooh, yeah, they're over there, dead. If the Sorcerer Prophet dies here for his hubris, that could be a problem. Could. As Infernal Ironsworn just beat the shit out of some Marauder Horus Masters in the distance. Death Shrieker Rocket Launcher still firing in. And I think that's Army Losses hitting here, and that'll leave just Chaos Spawn, which is guaranteed over. Chaos Spawn alone can't win it. There we go. GG. Wyatt advances. Ironsworn, Fireglaves, Bull Centaur Renders, Death Shrieker all did well. Chaos Dwarf Warriors with their great weapons did not do well. Hobgoblin Wolf Riders did fine, though. So GG there. Productor Nerdgash. I don't love the build. I hate Sartorial. I hate him. I think he is so trash and he needs buffs before anybody can even look at him ever again. If your eyes pass over him while you're looking for your Lord and the Warriors of Chaos thing, you've already lost. I hate him. I hate him a lot. The rest of the build, the Skirmish Cav are just a little slow to activate, and the Chaos Spawn were a little slow to activate too. So just some like faster micro stuff. All right, Greenskins versus Greenskins. Holy cats, that is almost the same exact build. Let's go. Longshanks versus Bavarat. Let's go. Let's do it. That's really funny. It's like the same goddamn build. Okay, so for the Greenskins of I believe this was Longshanks. Of the Greenskins of Longshanks, we have 4 Squigs, 5 Goblins, 3 Archers, 2 of which are Savage Orc Arborboys, 1 is the Rusty Arrows Night Goblin ROR. We have Wurzag, 2 Stone Trolls, no, a Stone Troll and a River Troll ROR, and then 4 Orc Boarboy Bagans. On the other side, for Bavarat, we have 4 Orc Boarboy Biggins, one of which is the Broken Tusk Mob. We have 4 Spider Riders, 4 Squigs, 5 Goblins, 2 Trolls, one of which is the Stone Troll, the other is the River Troll ROR, and we have Wurzag also. Let's see what happens. Can the Archers of the Greenskins defeat the slightly wider mobile forces of the red Greenskins? Bold prediction, but the Greenskins are going to lose every time at the mirror match. Every time someone has to make that joke. All right, Squigs and Goblins all piling in, all doing good. Both sides throwing out Wurzag. Both sides getting a lot of melee attack. Actually, yeah, these front lines should get crumped very quickly because both sides are just getting melee attack buffs. There's no melee defense buffs. I mean, yes, there's that one, but it's not army-wide. So both armies are getting juiced in the melee attack department. Big old Cav blob fight as these boar boys all blob up onto the Broken Tusk Mob and then onto other Orc Wars. They're gonna get an Ere We Go, it looks like, cast onto them. Yeah, so that'll give them a ton of melee attack and those should be okay, but you do really want to separate out those Cav and not have such a blobby type of fight because it really limits their effectiveness. Some goblins for the Reds have gotten through to the green archers. The green archers now starting to retreat, though they are kind of retreating into each other. A brain burster onto a section of greens, though. The red wars again out some decent damage. And on the north side, the reds are doing well. In the middle, the greens are doing quite well. And on the south side, it's a bit of a toss-up as everybody's a little bit of everywhere. Balance of power is slightly favoring the greens. As, yeah, look at how long that these green boars up here have lasted, even while they're in, like, a 6v1 or something. That's just, like, because when your units blob up, they don't attack 6 at a time. They attack 1 at a time. Green ones stood there because they didn't see the purple ones because they're stealthy. Oh, maybe. Anyway, the greens are getting a better fight down on this flank, even though the reds had more mobile tools. It's just, you know, the green ones are being used slightly better, and there's infantry support nearby for the greens. So they're winning that. Are trying to get some of their archers back. All 3 of them are still pretty alive. One of them is routing right now, but that brain burster should actually get rid of both those guys, leaving the broken tusk mob all alone. Which, if you're all alone next to stone trolls and other orc boar biggins, you're in for a bad time. Up on the top side, the greens that won in the center fight had now moved north, so they are just getting out some more attrition, but the greens have made a bit of a bunker on the south side, rallying a lot of their ranged forces and more powerful melee forces. They are pushing back up with roughly reorganized battle lines, while the reds are still mostly in disarray. They're trying to leverage some of their mobile tools to break this front pocket for the green forces. And then that'll provide them with battle lines again, but overall I'd rather be green in this situation. If you have battle lines reforming and you have archers and the enemy doesn't. That felt like an early FF, but okay. Longshanks does take it. Bavarat backs out. Okay. Archers actually didn't get that much value. Just slightly better cav engagements for Longshanks. Yar. For Bavarat, some of his trolls and orc boar boy biggins got some decent value. Goblins did alright. GG. Ugh. And with these replay casts, man, we just go. We just go and go and go. Alright, give me a second. Give me a second. What is this? The one true Nick, it's Wyatt versus Stead. Okay. Okay. We have been casting aggressively through this whole time. I need to eat my food. I'm tired. My voice hurts. Everything hurts. So I'm gonna take some bites of food. I'm gonna take some bites of food. I'm gonna mute the mic. You can just deal with it. I am muted still. I was still chewing, dude. All right. So, battle is well underway. You already saw the start. It's the Greenskin build we've mostly been talking about all day. It's largely similar. You have boars and some goblin wolf riders on the flanks, a whole bunch of squigs and trolls and goblins to run up the front line, and Wurzag to give them all buffs. The Chaos Dwarf build is a little different than what we've been seeing. One Bull Centaur Render and the Deathstreaker rocket launcher we're used to. But also a fucking Cathay Destroyer? Why? 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 And if you lose this, you did it to yourself. This thing sucks ass. All right. Cathay Destroyer's doing its very best out there. I don't know if it's going to be enough, as Spirit Leeches and the Sorcerer Prophet of Death's just little fireball poke are going so well, but like, this is a lot more of what I want to see out of the Greenskins, dude. Like, they are blitzing through this front line. Their front line has already reached the Deathstreaker rocket launcher in some parts, and everywhere else, Chaos Dwarfs are just falling apart. Chaos Dwarf front lines are generally quite weak. The Chaos Dwarf faction does not really have a good stalwart front line in most games. So some people give them a little more respect than they deserve when really you just want to run at them and really start that fight. Infernal Ironsworn are great, but Infernal Ironsworn are super expensive, so usually you're just dealing with Goblin Laborers. But it looks cool. It does look cool. It's out here just fighting some stone trolls. Doing its best. Sounds implying. Everywhere else, though, besides the fight with the Cathay Destroyer, the Greenskins are slamming through. Some Bull Centaur Renders will beat these Orc Boar Barbarians, but they've taken a lot of damage, and more Orc Boar Barbarians are coming over here. Bounce power is significantly against the Chaos Dwarfs, considering we're only 3 minutes into the game. Deathstreaker rocket launcher is already running, and yes, the enemy lord is full HP, but he's not really a carry. Like, if he lands, he will get toasted so goddamn quickly. Cathay Destroyer already down to 1/3 HP as these stone trolls are just wailing on it. They've already paid for themselves and they're just racking up the points. I'm not... Everybody's messaging me. I'm not muted anymore. I was muting while I was eating my food. I was just muted while I was eating my food and scrolling around the battlefield so you can see with your own eyes. You don't need me to tell you anything. God damn it. Here comes a big dive in from Wyatt with the Sorcerer Prophet trying to kill off Wurzag. It is probably his last hope in this game, is that he and the Bull Centaur Renders and the big old Juggernaut boy can just cycle route the Greenskins with leadership problems. With a literal full health Stone Troll and two very, very healthy Boar Boy Biggins, I doubt that even they'll be that cowardly that they'll run away. Sorcerer Prophet of Death just avoids Wurzag for a little bit. The Boar Boys are charging in. Bull Centaur Render is going to take some damage. Cathay Destroyer going to take some damage. And those Stone Trolls routed at last. Cathay Destroyer, 1,000 versus Stone Trolls, 1,600. Oof. You're still muted. Cathay Destroyer. Fucking liar. Alright. I think that's GG. I think that's GG. I don't know what the Chaos Dwarfs can do about this. Cathay Destroyer loses his Unbreakable now that he's taken enough damage, and he's immediately going to start the Demonic Instability crumbling, so there he goes. Big breath attack. Whoa, wow, that took like half health off the Swamp Things. That was crazy. Not crazy enough to win this game crazy, but crazy. That's about it, man. Everything's routing besides the Chaos Sorcerer boy, who is going to go snipe out Wurzag, but I don't think it's enough, as he now gets surrounded and beaten into the dust by Zakarian Beans. Now gets surrounded and beaten. I'm not muted, you liars. I have the stream up in the screen. I can just unmute at any time. Cathay Destroyer, 1,300. How's the Rumble going? So far, pretty good. Pretty good. But at what cost? Yeah. I don't think that Sorcerer Prophet's going to live very long. Does that count as two people? I believe so. 8th. I believe so. The Trolls did well. Bork Boy Biggins did well. Wow, the Moon Howler is almost doubling their value. Squigs did fine. Goblins did fine. GG. Alright, where are we at? So I need to make sure I know what's going on. Give me 1 second. So now the tournament gets a lot easier to talk about. Because, I mean, I've just been, like, throwing these things at you. Because I don't want to show you the bracket. Because they're ahead of us. So they're spoilers. But previously it's been like, this is in the losers bracket, but where is it? We're in the final stretch. So we have Stead versus Longboy. I believe that's this next game. No, it's Longshanks versus Longboy. Okay. Okay, wait, yeah. So we have Longshanks versus Longboy. That's the Battle of the Longs. Then we have Stead, which I already spoiled it, but it's Stead versus Longboy. And then whoever wins that versus Salinator, and whoever wins that versus TR Grabbers, and that's the end of the tournament. So TR Grabbers is in the finals. Salinator is in the semifinals, waiting for an opponent. And then Stead is waiting for the winner of this next game, which I accidentally just spoiled, but let's fucking do it anyway. Let's go. The boy! The boy is using my build! Longboy! Longboy using my build! You're using my build. And I just spoiled the result. Curious. He asked me, that wasn't a bad reaction, by the way. He asked me about how to play Skaven, and then yesterday, he asked me how to play Ogre Kingdoms. So I gave him this build. I gave him 2 builds, and this one was versus people that you don't just want to outright rush. 5 Gnoblar Trappers, some Ogre Bulls, some with 5 Ogre Bulls, 3 with Iron Fist, 2 without. You have the Powder Guts Maneater Pistols, 2 Lead Belchers, 2 Saber-Tusk Packs, a Mournfang Cav with Great Weapons, and a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw. On the other side for the Vampire Counts, we have a Blood Knight, 3 dogs, one of which is the ROR dogs, 2 Blood Knights actually, the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, a front line of zombies. We have the Claw of Nagash Mortis Engine, and a Necromancer on foot with the Strokey Stroke Rod, who is already almost dead. My word. Saber-Tusk Packs are going to take a fight with the Dire Pack while Lead Belchers turn and fire into the oncoming Blood Knights. Mournfang Cav and Saber-Tusk Packs are going to duel with the Dire Wolves in the background, but that's going fine for them overall. The frontline fight is very winning for the Ogres, and when you're fighting undead as the Ogres, you get your army passive super quickly, because anything that is crumbling counts as routing, quote-unquote. So when you kill stuff that's crumbling, you get army passive, which is really easy to do. So killing all these zombies and stuff that they have, they probably already have a tier 3 army ability. Not even kidding, they probably already have it. Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw is down to half HP. Lead Belchers kind of shooting their own guy in the face, judging by the angle we got going on here. And where are the Man-Eaters? Man-Eaters busy fighting some Skeleton Spearmen and some zombies. They will want to get out of there and fight more important targets. Slaughtermaster does route. A Butcher is popped in. I told you Butcher was ready already. You just didn't believe me. 2 minutes into the game, tier 3 armor ability. Fighting undead as the Ogres. Let's go. So the Slaughtermaster is routing, but the Butcher is keeping him healthy, at least making the Vampire counts commit a lot to that fight. Lead Belchers continue to fire back here and just deal what damage they can, as the Dire Pack and both Blood Knights are taking a lot of damage. Now the Blood Knights will walk the Slaughtermaster off the field here. Lead Belchers, both Lead Belchers still healthy, still firing, doing pretty good overall, and the Man-Eater Pistol's also very healthy. The Claw of Nagash is fighting mostly melee units, which you hate to see. You usually want to hit it with ranged units, but clearly the Ogre's ranged units are busy, so I get that. But it is going to get good value off of these Bulls and Gnoblar Trappers. The Blood Knight that's chasing the enemy Lord is quite healthy, but the ones still involved in this fight in the back here are kind of getting worked down. And the Vampire counts are running out of a front line. Gnoblar Trappers are quickly turning back into Archer units, absolutely destroying the Claw of Nagash with those guys. Good to see, good to see. Nice usage there. The Man-Eater Pistols just killing 110 zombies. Easy as pie. Blood Knight's still running around the Slaughtermaster, who is dead. So Ogres will take a leadership debuff. Are they ahead enough at this point? The Blood Knight and the Dire Pack that were left back here are pretty much dead. I'd consider that guy dead. He's not coming back. That's a zombie summon, I believe. So yeah, we have 3 ranged units versus 2 things from the Vampire counts. To shoot is usually a pretty good situation for their shooty shoot units. This Lead Belcher is doomed as the Blood Dragon Lord dives onto him, but the Lead Belchers will turn and poke him in the butt. Lead Belchers, if you're watching this back, long boy, Lead Belchers should be shooting at the Blood Knights. Powder Guts should be shooting at him, or the Powder Guts can shoot at the Blood Knights, but Lead Belchers aren't actually the best unit at shooting a big single entity. They have a lot of splash damage in their shots they want to be shooting at infantry or cav or something. Like, they're doing okay, I'm just saying, against, like, this blob of Blood Knights, they would actually do fantastically, but the Blood Dragon Lord isn't a bad choice to shoot at. I just think there's better ones. Again, if you're watching this back and you want the feedback. If you don't want the feedback, ignore me. That's perfectly fine. For the Vampire counts, I think they played well overall. The problem was having a Mortis engine versus Ogres is actually pretty tough. I know some people like it. I'm personally not a person that really enjoys it that much. I would prefer getting more Skeleton Spearmen than the Mortis engine, because it just feels like the Ogres probably are going to have good enough shooting to kill it, especially with Nablar Trappers being their front line. I don't know. So I think the Mortis engine is meh versus Ogres. It is really good if they try the Sky Strider blob on you, but I don't see that build as much anymore. I see much more, versus Vampire counts, I see much more shooting these days. Not as much the Crusher blob. You might still see Crushers, but I'm talking about the Mortis engine would be good versus, like, 3 Crushers, a Healing Caster, and then a bunch more Ogre Bulls, and that's it. And it's like, okay, but what if the enemy has Nabla Trappers? Or what if the enemy has Man-Eater Pistols or Lead Belchers or anything? Then that Mortis engine's just fucked. What happened to the Necromancer? He ran straight into Nabla Trappers and got murked. So the Mortis engine didn't get a lot of value. The Blood Knights did well. The Blood Dragon Lord did okay. The dogs struggled. The anti-large dogs did great. Spearmen did well-ish. Skeleton Warriors did fine, but it's tough. I feel like Blood Knights don't solo carry this matchup like they used to before the VC nerfs. Man-Eater Pistols did fine. Mornfang Cav did fine. Lead Belchers, 3,100 value and 1,500. Very good stuff from them. Ogre Bulls were also pretty good. Value, they're going to be mixed, but they just, like, were disruptive and did a lot of great things. Nabla Trappers being fucking busted, as always. Look at those. Look at those values. Good God. Good God. All right, so that was a spoiler. I revealed that long boy one. My bad. So now there are 3 games left. Longboy versus Stead. Winner of that versus Salinator. Winner of that versus T-Rex with Grabbers. For the W. Let's get into it. Longboy's back on the Beastmen that he played earlier in the tournament to beat Wyatt. Instead, playing his Greenskins that he has been playing a lot. Seems pretty confident on those. What up, Fly Spray? Okay, we're off to the races very quickly. You've seen this Greenskin build many times before. 2 Stone Trolls, the River Trolls, ROR, 4 Squigs, Wurzag, and then a bunch of Orc Boarboy Biggins, plus some Wolf Riders on the flanks. For the Beastmen, we have a whole bunch of Ungor Herds. We do have the Blackhorns, Ravagers, Gore Herd with shields. We have 3 Archers, Malagor, Dark Oma with only Flock of Doom, and then 3 Minotaurs, 2 with great weapons this time, and 1 the Butcher Scout Guard ROR. The front line of the Beastmen gets slammed. Absolutely slammed. 3 out of the 5 are already routing, and the Trolls and Goblins are already in the Archers. Minotaurs will have to countercharge and try and make something out of this. On the flanks, the Beastmen are also slamming through the Centaurs, and things are going very poorly for the Beastmen quite quickly. Beastmen also do have a lot of Centaurs and Dogs I hadn't mentioned, and apparently a lot of them are deployed on this flank. And they are swarming up on the Boarboy Biggins, which is okay, but, I mean, your front line needs you, unfortunately, for them. Also, the Boarboy Biggins have a ton of armor, which these basic Centaurs can't push through as quickly, so they might eventually win that flank fight, but it's not going to be fast enough, as the front line has become a complete disaster for the Beastmen. Greenskins slam through it. Malagor dives down to try and help snipe out Wurzag, and Dogs are also going to come help him out. As Minotaurs continue to do battle, they will push off some Squigs, do some decent damage to Orc Boarboy Biggins and to swamp things, but they are way outnumbered and outgunned in that battle overall. The Greenskins have overrun the Beastmen backline. Wurzag is slipping away from Malagor, and the Dogs are not enough support as even more Greenskins come piling in. The Dogs are out of here, and Malagor is alone. We have reached the finals. How did the best of 3 work? Salinator, it's best of 1. Best of one. I know that the page says 1 sentence best of 3. I deleted the best of 3 from everything but that 1 sentence, and that was just my bad. The whole thing's best of 1. Because last time we did double elim, it was super long by the time I got to best of 3, and I wanted to be done. So this time I'm like, alright, if doing double elim, I'm gonna go to best of 1, because fuck this shit. Balance power significantly against the Beastmen at this point. I do agree. The Beastmen are doing okay in this top fight here, and Minotaurs are going to come help, but we just like saw that with that high armor value, the Boar Boys, I mean, actually the Boar Boys are still winning it, but even if the Beastmen were going to win it up here, it just took so long that the entire low ground it just fell apart. Yeah, that was a good greenskin rush. You have PTSD from that meta? I don't know, man. This is a very different Greenskins than the Grom the Paunch meta. Grom the Paunch was all about kiting as much as possible, abusing regen as much as possible with Grom and Trolls, while your 6 skirmish cav tickled the enemy to fulfill the attacking rule. This is different. This Greenskins meta slams through things in like 5 minutes or loses. All right, the finals are getting set up right now. It sounds like the players want me to do it live, which is fine. So I need to cast one more replay before then, so I'll quickly hover over the values. If you see anything that strikes out to you, you can just feel free to pause the stream. But otherwise, let's get this next cast underway so the players at the end aren't waiting for us for too much longer. All right. So Stead did get through there pretty quickly on his greenskins, and the exact same greenskin build is going up against a very wild Dark Elf build. When has it not been about abusing regen? I mean, antagonists, that's fair, but like, there's a lot of that in Warhammer 3 right now, but I'm saying this specific greenskin playstyle does not abuse regen, because when a game's like 4 minutes long, nothing regened worth it, you know? Like, yes, the trolls have regen, but it didn't matter in a 4-minute long game. Just saying. All right. So, you just saw this greenskin build. I'm not even going to bother casting it. You know what it is. Real quick, the other side, we have the Raven's Herald. And it looks like the greenskin build bringing literally no ranged is getting punished. So the Raven's Herald are completely uncontested. They can literally shoot at whatever they want all game long. There's 2 Harpies as well, a Deathcaster also in the sky, so all 4 of these units are safe. And we have an Elite Spear box, 4 Dread Spears, 3 Black Guard of Naggarond, Malice Darkblade, and the Siren of Red Ruin, Bloodrack Medusa. Damn. That's spicy. The Dark Elf build is good if you know the melee rush is coming. Yeah, this Dark Elf build will be kind of tricky. Especially the Raven's Herald just like being completely uncontested in the sky. I don't know what damaged her, unless you have Gaze? No, I don't know what did that much damage to her. I guess it was just effigy of the Git. The charge comes in. Squigs slam into the Dread Spears. They should probably wait for the Goblins to start the fight next time so that the charge defense is broken. Just a little heads up for Stead if you're out there. Goblins can hit, break the charge defense, and then the Trolls and Squigs can charge in, and their charge won't be mitigated nearly so much. Blackguard take a big charge from the Boar Boys, take a little bit of damage, and they're going to back off. The front line for the Dark Elves is faltering. Dread Spears falling back, terror routing away. 3 out of the 4 Dread Spears have already fallen apart, and the Greenskins are into the box. But this time, there's nothing in the box for them. There's no archers or anything to disrupt. It's just more melee. So they've essentially gotten through the first layer. Stone Troll's trying to... They are terror routing from the Siren of Red Ruin. And Wurzag is out here with a get back here pop to get all of his boys in the fight. These Blackguard are unbraced now. They are currently slapping Wurzag, so he'll want to get out of here. But more Boar Boys are charging back in. More charging. More charging. Malice is fine, Siren Red Ruin's fine, and this general blob fight here seems to be going fine for the Dark Elves as the Blackguard are doing a ton of damage. Black Orc Boar Boy Biggins charging straight in there. They don't do a lot of damage on the charge versus infantry, though. We already have some shattered units from the Dark Elves. And the Raven's Herald, still here. Have like 1/4 ammunition left, and they are firing at Wurzag, who's still fighting with Blackguard. So Wurzag's going to take a lot of damage between these two units, and it might spell the doom of him and the doom of the Greenskins in turn. For the Blackguard, out of the 3 that were brought, 2 are below half HP. One of those 2 is at 1/4 or less. The other one's still about full. That is really it for the Dark Elf infantry that is left. Malice is full HP, Siren Red Rune's full HP, and the Raven's Herald and the Deathcaster are also fine. But the Harpies, the Dread Spears have all been completely gunned down. Spent a lot of time promoting the merit of Boar Boy Biggins Rush. Even though Human Boy said they suck. I think they're good with Wurzag. I think without Wurzag, Boar Boy Biggins suck ass. Yeah, I'll stand by that. Without Wurzag, I think Boar Boy Biggins are giga trash. I spent too many games full surrounding Imric with the Broken Tusks mob and throwing Fists of Gork on them with Wurzag, and Imric would still take like 3 damage and be fine. So that definitely jaded me against Boar Boy Biggins for a long time. I still think Boar Boy Biggins are pretty bad at killing large single entities, but overall I think they're a good unit. So it depends on what you want them for. Wurzag has died, and with that the Greenskins leadership is starting to buster out. We have 1 Blackguard left at half HP, but it's mostly Malice, that Silent Siren of Red Ruin, that are the big problems left for the Greenskin. Malice only got 240 value. Raven's Heralds almost killed Wurzag entirely. Blackguard mixed value, only 1 of them paying for themselves. Dread Spears mixed value as well. But the Deathcaster, the Raven's Herald, sniping out Wurzag was plenty, and then just terror out stuff from those things. Who doesn't take Wurzag, though? There are some people that take Azhag and, like, Skarsnik and stuff. Some people take Grimgore. I almost exclusively take Wurzag, but I know there are plenty of other Greenskin players who take other lords. I have too much of a problem. When I play without Wurzag, the rest of my army feels like such shit that I'm like, alright, this sucks. Okay. T-Rex with Grabbers, that's his lobby. We are going to the finals where it's Salinator versus T-Rex. Here we are. Zegos, I agree. Today was not intended to be a replay cast. I had a whole bunch of bad shit happen at work, so I got home really late. And I just started doing replay casts because the tournament had already started without me. So yeah. No, today was just a whole fucking mess. Alright, I'm gonna eat some food while these guys build their builds. I'm gonna mute my mic. All right. The food is done. I have been eating lunch for 3 hours now, but my lunch is done. Let's go. And the final game of the day is about to begin. This is the finals. Salinator on Norsca versus T-Rex with Grabbers on Nurgle, which we have not seen T-Rex with Grabbers all day. He has not sent in any of his replays because he is paranoid, because he wants his builds to be secret, because he is a monster. All of that is definitely true, for sure, for sure. 4 T-Rex Grabbers and Nurgle. We have 4 Marauder Horsemen with their throwing axes. We have Marauders of Nurgle across the front line, some with great weapons, most without. We have 3 basic Plague Toads of Nurgle. 8 total Marauders, actually. 3 with great weapons, 5 without. We have 2 Exalted Heroes of Nurgle, and we do have the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle with Rancid Visitations and Stream of Corruption. All right. On the other side, for Salinator and Norsca, we have 4 Marauder Horsemen regular, 4 Skin Wolves, 4 Marauder Hunters with Javelins, and a front line of only 4 Marauders with a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom, and then Throg the Troll King with Fight or Die. I am worried that the 8 Marauders... Yeah, I'm worried that the 8 Marauders of Nurgle will get around the front line of these of Norsca, and then they just don't have enough like infantry killing power to get through all these guys. But we'll see. I mean, 4 Skin Wolves is actually quite significant. So we'll see how well Salinator plays with his flanks, because Salinator has a distinct advantage in the flanks. An Overcasted Stream of Corruption tickles the Marauder Hunters a little bit, but it does damage the Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle. And he didn't bring that crown that constantly heals him. What do you work with? I talked about it at the start of the stream. Yeah. I work with mass spectrometers at the Mayo Clinic, but now is not the time to go into that. These Skirmish Cav from Salinator are firing at Marauders with Grey Weapons, though some of them accidentally plow into those guys. The Skin Wolves are going to try and catch the Skirmish Cav on the other end. The frontline fight is joined, and the Exalted Heroes of Nurgle are currently slapping Throg. This is going to be quite one-sided. He needs to get out of here or get some serious support. Skin Wolves plow into the backside of the army, though, already getting rid of some Plague Toads, and they're maybe going to rout the Marauders. Yeah, wow, these Marauders are taking a lot of damage, the Marauders of Nurgle are, but Throg is the trade. So one side's losing their front line, the other side is losing their Lord. The back line is going about how we thought. The Nurgle forces are on the retreat, while the Skin Wolves and Skirmish Cav of the other side continue to push them back, but Salinator's pulling some of those forces inwards as Throg continues to take damage. He's even going to shatter. Yeah, he's been negative for too long. He's going to shatter. No, negative 51. He's rallying a little bit, and the Marauder Hunters are trying to stop it's Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle from being able to pursue Throg any further so he can rally somewhere. Skin Wolves are tearing through the flanks, but they need to get to the center quickly, and someone needs to do something about the Nurgle single entities. As Javelins continue to throw at them, continue to do good damage, Throg will rally on the far side, and we need some Marauder Horsemen to come up here and just sacrifice their lives to keep this Exalted Hero away from him. Because you can see that Exalted Hero is trying to break out of all his infantry, and when he does, he's just going to beeline for Throg. The Marauder Horsemen have to be up there to just, like, go into melee with him and just surround him. Throg is back, but his back is turned. And it looks like the Skin Wolves and Skirmish Cav only managed to get one of Nurgle Skirmish Cav in trade, and Throg gets caught napping a little bit. Curse the Slug is going to slow him down, so he couldn't run away even if he wanted to. He misses his first attack onto the Exalted Hero of Nurgle somehow. Then he gets a hit back. So as long as he gets that, he is winning in melee combat. He will have a bit of a better time there. So without the double Exalted Hero, a single Exalted Hero will actually lose to Throg, because Throg's like a way better duelist at that sort of thing. Well, not way better, but he is better. Throg, how are you missing so many attacks in a row, my guy? What the fuck, Throg? There we go. He missed so many for his like bonus versus large and all that stuff. Norsca's pulling ahead on the balance of power. I'm not sure if I agree. A lot of their guys are off in the wilderness. Skin Wolves are trying to chase some of these routing Marauder Horsemen. There's still a lot of Marauders left for Nurgle, and now this Exalted Hero is beating Throg a little bit. Throg's still trading pretty effectively with him, but it's not going great. He is going to maybe route this one. And both sides honestly missed a lot of attacks there. Don't know what that's about, but Throg's now getting his big shots in. One of the Exalted Heroes is routed, and Throg maybe considers just fighting the other one rather than running away at all. Looks like that Exalted Hero is going for him, though. Throg's attack animation save him a little bit. We have some Javelin Throwers who can save him. I know I've been focusing a lot on this Lord fight, but it will probably determine the game. Like, if you can actually kill Throg, that'll really hurt Norsca. Whereas if you couldn't finish him off, then Norsca would be just fine. So Throg is routing. Marauder Horsemen are throwing at some of the Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, who are running away. We have the Shaman Sorcerer down here who is just fine. Moreskin will still rolling through stuff. And Throg did die. Yeah, he died. So Norsca is taking their Lord is Dead penalty. We'll see how much that affects them. Norsca's still in a pretty good spot in this game in general, though, as the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle is getting murdered. Oh, he's getting murdered. The Skinwolves are all over him. He's trying to path out of there. He does not have his crown of Ever-Living Command or whatever the fuck, the constant heal one, so he does just route. And I was worried Norsca's leadership would tank too much without Throg, but it actually does look like they just had enough of a win across the battlefield. It's fine. Damn. That was a really weird duel with Throg on the backfield, by the way. Both parties were missing a lot of attacks, which is weird because both parties had more melee attack and the enemy had melee defense, but they were just missing all the time, which was really strange. Like, as much as I was talking about Throg shouldn't have been missing as much as he did, also that fucking Exalted Hero should not have missed nearly as much as they did. He did not have the crown, no. Skinwolves did great, as they always do. Their value may not have shown it, but I saw it. We all saw it. Jav Throwers did alright. Marauder Horsemen did alright. Basic Marauders did okay. The other side for Nurgle, the Hero Core did fine. Marauder Horsemen throwing axes did okay. Frogs got completely murdered. And the Marauders, honestly, did okay. It's a close game overall. It looks like the 4G Forks just didn't bring what they needed to the table. Alright. Troll King 0 kills still wins. OP, please nerf. He was dueling large things. GG's, well played to everybody today. I am exhausted because with these replay casts or whatever, it's just constant. It's just constant shouting. Oh boy. Okay. 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 Oh boy. All right. The bracket doesn't have that. The winners thingy. Like, if you get to finals, it still just says BO1. IDK, how to change that on Tavern. Tier Scrappers is also a host on Tavern, so I just wanted to know. Alright, people are talking to me. Yeah, with the double Elim tourney, it gets weird because you could also... What T-Rex is talking to me about right now, where he's like, how does it work that, like, everybody else gets to lose one, and then if he gets to finals and loses the best of one, he's just done? Some tournaments, like Super Smash Bros, would have winner and loser. So if the winner loses, they get a second shot, whereas if the loser loses, they already lost once earlier in the tourney. But that's not how Total Tavern is structured. Total Tavern just says one, so I don't know what to do about that. All right, I'm just talking to players. 1 second. Sorry. I'm just curious what Salinator wants to do. I asked Salinator if he wants to play the final that way. I have no issue with it, but if he's done or if he's got to go or something, then I don't want to change the tournament rules. Because T-Rex is like right. That's normally how double imaging works. Where if you get to the finals, so what T-Rex is talking about. Okay, sorry, I probably just been talking to myself and you don't know. T-Rex was confused because we got to the finals. It was best of 1. He had never lost up to this point, and then he lost the final. And Super Smash Bros. And most other things that have double elim, you would enter the finals and like the winner would have to lose twice. But that's not how Total Tavern's set up. So T-Rex was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know, man. That's how the website is. So I just went to Salinator and I said, hey, Salinator, do you mind playing another best of 1? Because that's how it traditionally goes. Or do you just want to be done? Because if he won, like, I wouldn't begrudge him. If he won, he's tired. He played a whole tournament. He doesn't want to play another best of 1. He just calls it. Like, I'm not going to take that from him. But I'll at least ask. Because it does. Like, I understand where T-Rex is coming from. That fucking sucks. Everybody else got to lose 1, but if you lose 1, it counts. So, I get it. But I won't force Salinator to play. So we'll see what he responds. All right, so Sally's got to go to bed. You get a bonus win when you come from the winner's bracket. Rainy Frog? Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But I don't think that's how Total Tavern works. Because with Challenge, you can program that in. But I don't know about Total Tavern. I'm still figuring this shit out. All right. All right. Yeah, T-Rex is fine with it. He was just confused. Okay. So we're good. So Salinator's taking the dub. He's going to bed. And we're leaving. Only fair to play best of 9? Oh, obviously. Wake him up. Wake him up. All right. Later, everybody. Have a good one.